He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Live now on a Monday as we get going. Auburn basketball starts the Maui Classic tonight, 8 o'clock on ESPNU if you want to watch that. Crazy day in the NFL. The Hard Bowl, Super Bowl rematch happening tonight, Ravens and Chargers in a great NFL game. But, of course, we start with, much like LT disappearing behind the desk, Alabama's disappearing playoff hopes and everything we saw in the college football playoffs.
Well, LT's back. Is Bama back?
Well, they're not out of it.
Probably not.
Yeah, they are. They're
out of it.
This whole discussion.
I mean, Kalen DeBoer ought to actually hit the podium and say, look, we don't deserve to be here.
Do not put us in.
Don't put it's embarrassing to the brand to put us in all these crazy scenarios.
No, that was one of the most embarrassing performances of Alabama football I can ever remember.
So,
see, I said that on the post game, and Brown and some other listeners have responded. Brown asked me, how did you phrase the question?
No, I said, and I'll ask Lance too, like, I'm 48. I grew up in this state. I have watched a lot of Alabama football in my lifetime. I have to think long and hard to find the last performance that bad.
Now, I was finishing it off a bottle of wine, and I said when you factor in the talent on the team, now obviously there have been less talented Alabama teams, I thought about my entire career, and I could not think of a more disappointing performance from a team that had this much talent, this much on the line to perform like that. I couldn't find one.
Yeah, and it completely, like, not only Alabama's performance, but a lot of the SEC has really thrown rivalry weekend. It's not going to be as exciting because a lot of these teams can lose games now. It's true.
No,
it is
right.
true. It is true.
Yeah.
I sat there when I was typing out the sheet yesterday that I always do, our little worksheet here, last one of the regular season. And as I was typing it out, all I've heard since July, since SEC Media Days, man, rivalry weekend. I'm not going to the Iron Bowl, rivalry weekend. And I was typing it out, and I was like,
why would you go to the Iron Bowl?
No, exactly.
I mean, it is the
going
most
now.
irrelevant Iron Bowl since 2006.
Yeah, but I was sitting there typing it out, and I was like, boy, a lot of the air has come out of this great rivalry weekend.
It has. I'm not going to lie.
I was typing it out. I could hear it. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, is there a leak in this?
No,
because rivalry weekend tire?
I go back to one thing we talked about on the pregame show, and I know we're going to do a lot of Alabama, and we should because it was a pathetic performance. And Kayla DeBoer and that staff need to be held accountable. With that said, you brought up, we were talking about Penn State, Minnesota, and I was like, man, I think Minnesota's going to keep this game close, and obviously it was my upset alert. And you said, well, if Penn State loses, they're still going to get in. And I was like, there's no way.
I didn't think they were either.
Well,
I was with Lance.
But if teams take care of business like they're supposed to, if Ole Miss beats Florida, if Alabama beats Oklahoma, Penn State, I mean, you could tell James Franklin's like, he was scared to death. Everybody talks about the balls on James Franklin. He knew if they punted, they were probably going to lose that game.
Yeah, didn't want to give it back to Minnesota. Did a fake punt on his, for those that didn't watch, fake punt on his own 34-yard line and then two other 4th and ones.
That fake punt, if it gets stopped, they lose that game.
Lose the game.
Yeah.
And it's just a typical James Franklin. Like, that would have made my Saturday just in itself. And I heard Marcelo with you just talking about how good he thinks Penn State is.
Yeah, he did.
These miraculous, the miraculous win against Wisconsin, the miraculous win against USC, the miraculous win against Minnesota. Yeah. Come on. That Penn State team ain't good.
They're not. They're not. I don't know how good Ohio State or Oregon is, but I've never.
I don't either. I don't know how good anybody is.
I've never felt better though about my bold prediction of 3 Ohio State Oregon meetings and them playing in the national championship game. But the Big Ten, their schedule, that's a 4-team at best league, everyone's piling on the SEC today.
Those 4 teams are locked in.
They got to be, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the SEC, really 3? I mean,
3 locked in.
I still think they get 4.
I'm pulling for 3 just because of all the chaos. I mean,
I do. I still think they get 4.
Hey, there's a possibility the ACC gets 3.
Who's the 4th? I don't think the ACC will get 3.
I don't think they will either, but there's a possibility.
If Texas A&M beats Texas, that'll lock into 4th, right?
I mean, I
No.
guess we got to see how far A&M falls.
Yeah, there's no way A&M loses the championship game, has 4 losses, and gets in.
That's 4 losses.
They
There's
will
no
not, They will
chance.
not count.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I still think the SEC gets 4 in.
Okay, we'll
I
see.
mean, they might because
We'll see.
you got to have 12 now.
Sadly, one of them could be Alabama.
I know.
11% on the playoff.
Again.
They've lost 3
Hey,
games.
somebody asked me
I know.
yesterday. Well, it was our friends Clint Lamb and Mick Gillespie. I was on Cover Crimson, and Clint had a legitimate question. Like, if South Carolina beats Clemson, would you take South Carolina? I know it was head-to-head against Alabama. South Carolina is a better team right now than Alabama.
No, absolutely. South Carolina is one of those teams, and they at that point would have wins over Clemson. But a lot of close losses.
What is their second best win?
What is their second best win? I mean, they walked Missouri off the field,
Yeah.
but Missouri's a 3-loss team.
they are.
Of course, we got people storming fields for 3-loss
That's
teams
true.
now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's a weird year.
They had a bad call loss against LSU.
LSU,
Yeah,
which, by the way, has turned into a pretty big
Oh yeah,
big call.
they beat the hell out of A&M.
beat the hell out of A&M.
That's-
I mean,
that's probably it right there. Yeah. I mean, look, are they playing better than Alabama right now? Yes, they are.
Oh, I'm
South
just
Carolina
saying
is.
that. Okay, back to my four SEC teams. If A&M beats Texas, A&M goes and gets drugged through Atlanta for their 4th loss, I would put South Carolina in the playoffs. Over now.
I would love to see that.
It depends on what happens in the ACC, but the ACC could get 2 in. We'll talk about who benefited the most, other than Tennessee, from this past weekend. But hats off to Rocky Top. You beat Vandy, you're in.
Yep.
Oh,
They were just sitting there playing a nobody and got 2 gifts from the SEC.
Until I saw the number, and there's a handicapper that reached out to me Saturday night. And he said, "What do you think the Iron Bowl number is going to be?" And I said 14 and a half, and he was like, "No effing way." He was like, it's going to be way back. It opened at 15 and a half. I know it's dipped down to like 12 or 13.
12 and a half at mybookie.ag last I saw.
I think it's 11 now at my book.
Okay. Well, that's the only benefit, because I don't think a lot of people are going to roll to the window and say, give me Alabama minus 11. For the first time that I have believed this all year, I think it could be on the table that Auburn could win that game. I never saw it until this past weekend. I mean, I don't think they will. I think Alabama will win the game, but would it shock me after what I saw? The pathetic, uninspired. It started with Jalen Milroe. You throw a pick and you just basically just let the guy walk in.
I mean, you don't even make an effort on
How do y'all make that? We
I
talked
think
about
it's
it
obvious.
post-game.
It's just a shitty effort play.
It's you're struggling. Points are at a premium in that game. If that guy gets down the sideline into the end zone, you have got, because it's 17-3 at that time.
That's right.
That made it 24-3. I mean, you have done nothing on offense. Points are at a massive premium.
That's 3 full touchdowns.
Possessions are shrinking. The clock is ticking. If that guy gets in the end zone, like Jalen Milroe made a business decision.
Yeah.
That was a business
And
decision.
I would have made a business decision, put his ass on the sideline.
Okay, but look, you don't even have to.
And by the way, before people think I'm salty because I had Alabama, I did not play that game.
You did not play that game.
I stayed away from that game altogether.
Not at all.
Hey, and helped me in the pick 3. I took Oklahoma in the points. I thought it would be a close game. Here's the deal. It's on the sidelines. You don't even have to hit him. It's not even a business.
Just
decision. You just push him out of bounds.
Big ass
Right.
shove.
Yeah.
You just push him out of bounds. I can make that tackle if I could get there.
You're a big, fast guy. He's probably not going to be able to bowl you over.
Yeah.
And even if he does, maybe he steps out of bounds in the process, or somebody else is able to chase him down.
Looked like he tried to trip him.
I look like he didn't do anything.
I thought that too until they show the view from the other end zone. He's not even close to him.
Yeah.
He just kind of slid.
yeah, he pieced out.
I mean, he did not make an effort.
Like
Did not make an
you'll
effort.
see that this Thursday when people are having their Turkey Bowl, family games.
Yeah.
Outside with the Nerf, and Dad will throw a pick and he'll just let him walk in the end
Yeah,
zone.
like-
That's what Milroe did.
Milroe did what I wish Tua had done against Lance's Rams.
That's right.
I wish Tua would do that, right? Tua is playing with one more concussion, may end his career, and he's in there going head first to make a tackle. Milroe did a business decision. I mean, that's what it was. I hate to say that. I like the kid. He's played hard for Alabama a lot, but that was inexcusable.
I haven't seen your script, but Milroe, when he is on, he is unstoppable.
Yes.
But when he plays it looked like he was on the take Saturday night. And if I'm an Alabama fan or if I'm that coaching staff, of course, we got to get to them in a minute. I don't know if I want Milroe back.
You mean next year?
Yeah.
Let's talk mostly about this Saturday.
Yeah, I
you
know.
want him back this
That's
Saturday?
what I said. Well, I mean, look, I don't know what's going on with him.
This Saturday, Dunaway.
It's so weird that we talked about how could Alabama lose this game? Well, if Milroe reverts back to the Tennessee game, that Milroe, but that's impossible. Yeah. How could he revert back to that? Yeah. He was worse.
That was worse. He reverted back to. Oh, that's his worst performance ever. I mean, like even not South Florida. What was the Texas game? Wasn't that bad? The one that got a bench.
Yeah.
You remember Blue Chips?
Yeah.
When Tony was like turning the ball over and Nick Nolte went back and watched the tape?
Yeah.
He didn't have to watch the tape here.
A couple of great sponsors. Thanksgiving week, so we'll be telling you a lot about our great sponsors this week as we approach the holiday season. Golfus starts us off here. Tell us about our friends at Golfus.
Well, first of all, I want to remind you can get gift certificates there. It's a great idea. Parties of up to 50. I mean, it is a wonderful place to go. It's golf simulators at their best. There's going to be 3 Birmingham locations. The one of Vestavia is already open right there on Highway 31. Pretty soon you'll have one out on 280, and then you'll eventually have one in Trussville as well. All that coming up probably in the next 60 days or so. Just keep up with it right there at thegolfist.com. It's almost time to book those holiday parties. You want a unique one? Bring your own food, bring your own drink, bring your own golf clubs. Do something fun. Not the same old boring holiday party. TheGolfist.com. That is the website to book your bays now. TheGolfist.com.
Hey, and Odie's Tavern, always a great place. You know, a lot of people are taking off work for the. I mean, the kids are out of school, all that kind of stuff. Get into Odie's. The weather's going to be, I think it's going to tip up in the high 60s today.
76 today, actually.
Well,
Oh, my
look
gosh.
out.
76. Took the dogs to the park for the beginning of the 3 o'clock games yesterday. Let them run around. The weather was fantastic. You can sit on one of those great patios, either location, Crestline, Edgewood. Enjoy burgers, the wraps, the delicious wings, ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Get in and see Will Haver. 2 locations, Birmingham Institution, Odie's Tavern.
All right, thank you for the first 100 comments in the chat room in the first 11 minutes. What's the quick math on that? 11 minutes, 100 comments.
That's going to be 10 a minute,
Yeah.
Jim.
10 a minute. Thank you guys for the quick response going over in the chat room over there. We appreciate you guys coming out hot. Brownie, we'll get to some of those in our best and worst of the weekend, brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services as well.
205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew. The guys there, whether you experience any plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Look, I'm the biggest Kalen DeBoer backer on this show, but what I saw was absolutely pathetic Saturday night. And he's got to stop dressing in black. And I am going to pick on the.
What are you doing?
What the hell does that matter?
It's like he does it on purpose. Like, I don't have to buy into this.
I don't understand what you're saying. That the black is not buying into what?
He's not buying. Like, everybody's made a. And I thought it was ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't understand. What are
What, the
people saying?
T-shirt thing?
Yeah, the T-shirt thing.
But
Why not
why is the
why not
color-
wear some crimson?
Why is the color
Well, the
wrong?
sleeves are crimson.
Well, I mean, he wears black every game.
Well, it's got black. Well, first of all, it's slimming. You got on his ass about having a gut one time.
I didn't get on his ass. Everybody else did.
I was just saying that the
He's
black
probably hadn't eaten since that game.
the black is slimming, but also,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a it's a night game on the road. You want a different color than your white.
I think
jerseys.
he's embraced going against the grain now because people have called him out on that.
Yeah, I don't know if he's heard it. I just black with crimson. I mean, it had Alabama on it. It wasn't like it was just a black T-shirt.
The most
it wasn't generic.
ill-prepared team
Well,
that I have seen this entire year in that situation.
What I always say about my guy Mike McDaniel, if he's in the Super Bowl, he can wear a tutu. I don't give a rip. The bigger issue is Alabama had everything on the line and put that performance out there. I am stunned by this.
You guys continue to here's
It's crimson sleeves.
It's the crimson A, man.
He's got a crimson hat on.
That's
That is.
I don't understand
Yeah,
the problem with wardrobe. Wardrobe's the least problem.
This staff is lost.
Yeah. Here's where they're lost. You guys are talking Milroe and offense, and there's plenty on that side. What's the defense doing? You're playing a team that hasn't been able to field a scholarship wide receiver all year long. They had a bye week. Is there a chance during that bye week that you think they sit there and they're like, okay, we don't have really a scholarship wide receiver. We've got a quarterback we've already benched once. Let's bring up our scout team freshman running back, and let's go to the Vanderbilt game plan. Where does our talent most look like that we're going to put on the field? Oh, I know. It's not closer to Georgia. We're closer talent-wise to Vanderbilt. So let's see what Vandy did to hurt Alabama. Oh, they put 6 in the box. Let's do the quarterback option read with the running back and run off the edge all day long. I don't know it to be true, but I bet you $1 to $100 that when Roman Harper joins our show next, he will say, that's the hole I was telling you about. 6 in the box, somebody can run off the edge all night long.
I would just say, and I think Roman's going to be with us Friday, so we'll ask him that, but I would just say this. As bad as the defense was against the run and gave up 250 first-half yards, or 200-plus first-half yards against the run, that defense really only allowed 10 points in that game. I mean, I know it wasn't great, but 7 of those came from a pick 6. 7 of those came from a drive that started on the 14 after another interception.
But you will give me that as an awful offense they faced.
It is a terrible offense. Yeah. But I'm just telling you, even with that bad plan, they could have easily won that game if they just perform on offense.
Always.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Offense can always exceed defense.
I'm just saying that was not a great defensive performance, but it was more than enough to win that football game.
The defense, to me, set the tone for the way that game was going to go.
Maybe that's true.
3-0, and then you let Oklahoma control the clock in that first half. I mean, you didn't have a lot of opportunities to look crappy on offense.
You know, Kirk and Chris were talking about Jackson Arnold. You know, he's got good feet because he was a running back in, Pop Warner.
Yeah.
He was a running back Saturday night. And, what do you guys think his game-high rushing yards were this year?
37. I don't know. I know it wasn't 131.
He had 97 against Tulane, but outside of that, his game high was 45 yards. And for him to carry it 25 times 131,
it's baffling.
You've got to make adjustments.
No. I'm 100% with you guys. Like, I would have thought at some point, you're like, I would at least like to see him complete a downfield pass. So I will put 11 up here in the box and just see if Jackson Arnold could hit it. No, I'm with you 100% on that.
Yeah, stop giving up first downs. Let's get it back to the crappy offense. Yeah. see which block they can miss.
Yeah,
see which interception.
I mean,
they
really,
can
throw. that's. I mean, I didn't understand that. Make Jackson Arnold take some shots.
Yeah, 2 guys ran it 18 times and 25 times. There's not that many carries in a game. I'm sitting there. Guess who's going to have the ball, guys? At that point, it's 11-on-2. Either Xavier, the running back, or Jackson, the quarterback's likely going to run.
Yeah, it made no sense. And look, I know that the loss of Deontay Lawson is massive for that defense, but it was an issue before he went out. You can't just pin it all
Robinson's
on the Lawson
injury. Was bad.
I mean, that's bad, but I'm saying you knew he was out. I'm just saying when Lawson went out of that game, Alabama was already struggling to adjust to the run.
You've got a true freshman in Xavier Robinson who you bring up. He had a total of 15 carries coming into that game. And he went 107 and 2 touchdowns on Alabama.
I mean, there's so much out of that game you could give me, and I'm just like, this does not compute.
Hey, and another thing that we haven't even talked about, it was one of the worst calls of the year.
Oh, yeah, but see, I didn't bring it up in Monday Morning Live.
You know why? I know why you didn't, because it didn't matter.
It was 24-3.
So Mick brought this up to me yesterday on Cover Crimson. Man, that was a big part. It was early fourth quarter. Well, it was a 4th down, 50-50 ball where Ryan Williams made an incredible catch. I don't care if it's a touchdown or not. You're still losing that game.
Yeah, I don't know that Alabama wins. They're down 14 with 14 minutes to go. They're probably going to have to.
Awful call, though.
Yeah. Well, to that in a moment. But they're probably still going to have to score every time they touch the ball.
Yeah.
Because
and
at that point,
stop them from running.
Well, that's what I was going to say. At that point, Oklahoma is going to have to come out of their shell a little bit on offense. They're not just going to be able to try to grind and burn clock. So Alabama was. Everybody's like, well, Alabama would only need 2 more touchdowns. I bet they would have needed 3 more, honestly. I think Oklahoma probably could have scored.
Guess how many they got all night?
0.
Yeah, I mean.
I don't know how you missed that call that bad.
Well, I do.
Okay, how?
Because I'm standing here, and the Oklahoma bench is behind me. And as the ball is snapped, they're screaming, he's covered up, he's covered up. If 2 catches it, he's covered up.
Well, he's nowhere close to covered up.
Oh, I know. But then the ref starts thinking in the back of his head, oh, did I miss that? And then he watches, and then down the field, 2 catches it, so he throws the flag out. He can't catch it. It's covered up.
So, and a lot of people got upset about the late flag, but you have to understand.
I did initially, too.
Yeah, and I did, too. I was like, holy crap, that's a late flag. But the call was illegal touching, so it's not a penalty till it's touched. That's when the flag was late. So I don't think there was like anything nefarious on the late flag. That was just the penalty.
You know
that
what was crazy, and I don't know how you guys felt, but when they brought it up, hey, this is the same crew that was in Austin.
Yeah, Herb Street throws it under the bus.
I was like,
right quick.
holy hell, are they gonna pick up another flag? Yeah. Like I really thought about it for a second.
That was the Herb Street comment was because Lemonnier or whoever the official is, they're like, he's like, this isn't reviewable, and Herb Street says,
well,
it wasn't in Austin either.
That's right.
Bill wasn't in Austin either, and it's the same crew.
Yep.
I thought for a second it might happen again.
Can I just ask how that's not reviewable? That is such an easy review. You don't even have to go under the hood. They just hit you in the ear and say, hey, he was eligible.
Yeah.
Wave that one off.
Because you don't blow the whistle. Like you said, it's a late flag.
That's
you
right.
don't throw that until he's touched. So it doesn't impact the play at all. You can't say Oklahoma would have played it different if it hadn't been a penalty. It's one of those I think you can correct on review, but it's not reviewable. We can review 12 men on the field or not.
Yeah, that's an easy review. All you got to do is count.
That's right. But you can't review that one. I don't know.
It's such an easy review because the minute they show the high angle, you're like, well, he's eligible. He's not covered up. I mean, that's the only thing. There's a lot of things going around that say I have talked with multiple college officials who all looked at that play. I wanted to make sure I was right before I came on here and say it.
Well, that was the one call that I had to be responsible. It was the hardest thing I did that day I officiated. I had to count a number of linemen, and if I had two off the line, if I had one off the line in the back, you hold your hand up like this. If I had two, it was like this.
Right.
To let the guy on the other side know how many I got on this side.
That's right.
Boy, that's complicated.
It really is.
Yeah, but these guys do it for a living.
Right. You have to do it every play.
I would say on your thing, hey, man, if I see a obvious pass interference, I'll call that an obvious hold. But
yeah, but I ain't going to be counting.
I was out there that day for the gram. I just wanted the pictures.
But they were, every official I've talked to is like the only way he's ineligible is if the guy to his right is also on the line.
That's right.
That's the only way. That's the only thing that makes that ineligible.
Yeah,
and that guy is so far off the line.
Not to jump the script again, but
there's no script.
Well, the other, I mean, the offensive pass interference on Rivaldo Fairweather, that could have cost him the game.
Oh yeah,
it turned
a horrible.
That
call.
was awful. I
Turned
know
a
we'll get
first
to that.
down into a second
but
25.
I don't understand how some of this obvious officiating is so bad.
That was back to back. That was back to back because the play before that, the guy running, I think it was with Lambert Smith into the end zone. He's holding his jersey the entire way.
Hand inside the shoulder pad.
I mean, he's holding number 14. It was number 14.
It's not like you've got a lot of people downfield.
Yeah.
There are two people downfield.
Yeah.
Number 14's holding him all the way into the end zone.
He's got a hand inside the shoulder. It's not just a grab jersey.
At the end, he's even doing this, letting you take a look at this. Take a look at this right here, ref.
Yeah.
No flag, and then you make the horrible call after that.
Yeah.
I don't complain about officiating often. I did on those. Okay, more in this segment. Probably some more Alabama griping. A+ brings you part of the show, as does our friends at Woodhouse. Start with A+.
Hey, so I just got a text this morning, actually, from our guy Brad Bell at A+ Tile Home Remodeling. They've got a brand new website you can go to, aplusbathandkitchen.com. That is aplusbathandkitchen.com. If you want to see even more of the work we talk about, they did tremendous work in my house. Scott is showing you that website right now, and you're going to see some great before and afters there. aplusbathandkitchen.com. A+ Tile Home Remodeling is the group we're talking about. When it came time to redo the bathroom in the Brown house, my wife scoured the internet looking for the right people for the job. She talked to contractors, read reviews, all those things. She picked Brad Bell, and I'm glad she did. His crews did amazing work for me. And so much so, Lance hired him for his master bath and his kitchen. The before and afters for us are tremendous. You can see more right there on the website, aplusbathandkitchen.com. If you want to start there, you can, or if you just want to reach straight out to Brad, here's his cell number, 205-422-1758, 205-422-1758, Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling.
Hey, and this Christmas, treat that special someone to the gift of luxury from our friends at Birmingham's Best Day Spa, the Woodhouse Day Spa. You can get those gift cards, choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatments, skincare, waxing, nail services, and they've got a Black Friday series special. You get 7 for 5 services. Purchase a series of 5 services and you're going to receive 7. 2 free services. Applies to all services except the Hydra Live facials, but you can get 4 for 3 with the Hydra Live facials. You can go on, you can call, you can stop by. They won't run your card until Friday, but this is one day only, the Black Friday series special from our friends at the Woodhouse Day Spa, birmingham.woodhousespas.com for more information.
Okay, just real quickly, Tyler Booker scheduled to be with us next segment, correct?
That is is correct.
Okay, so Tyler Booker scheduled to be with us next segment. Joel Klatt with us at 10:30 Central Time, coming up a little bit later on as well on our show. One more thing I wanted to get to here in the opening segment, and then we'll get back to Alabama and everything that went wrong with Booker in the next segment and everything that went right down at Auburn coming up as we move throughout the show. But because of what went right for Auburn down there with another big game from Jarquez Hunter, 28 carries, 130 yards. By the way, quarterback, running back, running the football. Can Alabama stop that? I mean,
they have not shown to be able to.
Yeah. Plus, you had Cam Coleman with another 100-plus yard receiving game.
We don't know if they can stop that because Oklahoma doesn't try to throw.
Yeah.
But
So
that's going to be a tough one to stop.
Now with Cam Coleman coming on the last couple of weeks, with what you got with Keandre,
Yeah,
so,
that's good. 1-2.
Yeah.
I know. I'm not supposed to ask this question because the game's in Bryant-Denny Stadium, and we don't consider that to be a challenge. But all of a sudden, 5-6 Auburn, 8-3 Alabama in Tuscaloosa. You guys are telling me the point spread's down to 11.
11.5. So I saw it at mybookie.ag just now.
This Iron Bowl looks totally different. I know we're not supposed to think Alabama can lose it in Tuscaloosa without Cam Newton, but all of a sudden, I mean, EG's on her way to Tuscaloosa right now. She may get over there and find just hollowed out Alabama players that
Hollowed out.
A guy, a quick question. Is there anybody inside? Side.
Well, look,
Jalen,
you guys.
Jalen, will you be quarterbacking this weekend?
I never know what movies you guys have seen and haven't seen, but I had to watch this in a psychology class, the movie Sybil, based on a true story, Sally Field.
Nope.
I think she had like 30-something personalities.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This isn't the wire coat hangers.
No, that was Mommy Dearest.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't know which personality you're going to get from this Alabama team. If you get LSU, I mean, Auburn gave up, 296 yards after halftime? They blew a 21-point lead. If you get that Auburn defense, Alabama can run them off the field.
Yep.
But if you get Peyton Thorne, not a great quarterback, but the dude busts his ass, and he is tough as nails, and he is going to try to run the football in this Alabama defense. If you get the Alabama defense and the Alabama offense that showed up this past Saturday night, Auburn could easily win this game. I just don't know who you're going to get.
That hit he took in halftime, Thorne. I mean, Lance is right. The guy's tough. I know Auburn fans had long since given up on Peyton Thorne.
Yeah, he got smoked.
He got smoked.
I mean, when his body looked like an explosion, his body.
Yes, just sputter up.
Both legs in the air.
Yeah, got right up and went back to play. And Cam Coleman has just turned in, I mean, what a complimentary set of receivers they now have with Keandre Lambert-Smith and Cam Coleman.
Listen, I know we're in Hugh's pocket, okay?
Yeah,
He pays us to say nice things about
Jim
him.
knows your golf buddies, according to the chat. All your Auburn golf buddies have bought you off.
Hey, and I agree with 4-0 Troy. I think Keandre is going to be a really good NFL receiver.
Yeah, he probably will. What have your golf buddies got you saying?
No.
this week?
But
it's the dinner club.
No, I'm just
supper club.
Just actually saying that. Why all of a sudden are we starting to throw the ball? If I was an Auburn fan, why all of a sudden are we starting to throw the ball to Cam Coleman now? Why is he getting 8, 7, 8?
And why is Jarquez getting 28 carries?
Why is Jarquez?
This is the Auburn team I thought we would see this year.
Why all of a sudden is this a focal point?
Don't forget now, early in the year they were throwing it to Cam Coleman, and there were a couple that went right off his hands that were interceptions. There was the wrong route he ran let's don't pretend like, Cam Coleman's just been perfect all year and they couldn't get him the ball. He's had his struggles as a freshman, but it has clearly clicked for him now. The light has come on and he's a different football player.
Again, the fair weather call was terrible, but if this is flipped and it's A&M that converts one of those 2-point conversions and they lose this game, it would be the third double-digit fourth quarter blown lead at home this year. Against Oklahoma, against Missouri, and this would have been obviously Saturday night against A&M. So I think the narratives, it would just be a complete meltdown state today.
Yeah, I'd say. I thought we were getting there for a minute.
It's the way it used to be when I first started this format with Brownie back in the AM days. It was meltdowns every Monday. Now we gotten so far away from it. These days feel weird.
I mean, this seems like one of those buried ESPN2 Iron Bowls.
I just think Auburn fans have a newfound hope in it. Like
Yes, Jeff. I mean, just look and see Jeff.
Oh, I know.
If Jeff's in the chat room, you know Auburn's got a chance.
Wow. The stakes are not where they have been, but for Auburn, I'm like, I think people feel like Auburn's got a real shot in this game. Now, I know the way you normally play. I think most of America saw that at Auburn 11, and they're like, holy crap, Auburn's catching 11 points the way these two teams are playing,
Well,
and you know how that normally goes.
Yeah, and speaking of narratives, though, I mean, how different is it if Hugh Freeze is able to close out the regular season with wins over ranked A&M, and then Alabama
with his recruiting go? I mean,
and
it feels
then
different.
Alabama with an 8-4 season, with what Nick Saban left there.
Yep. With the potential of losing players in the portal, which has to be a concern if you're an Alabama
Dude,
fan.
8-5 with a bowl loss, max exodus.
Yeah. And then what happens in recruiting before you get name on paper? You've already lost a couple in the last few weeks. And then Little T was telling me on the sidelines that the first people rushing the field down at Jordan-Hare Stadium were the recruits who were on hand for the game, rushing the field. They beat everybody onto the field, rushing onto the field. She says great excitement from the recruits.
I think you almost have to commit at that point, right?
Once you rush the field.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, and here's the final play from our cameras down there. The rush onto the field, and some of the first people there were the recruits. Here they come in there, the rest of them. Taylor said she spun around, and they were all gone. And I said, well, you do want SEC speed. If you're looking for a good recruit, you want to spin around and know they're already on the field.
Dodge the tackler.
Yeah. At this point, Little T's now rushing the stadium.
Well, that was a fun game.
It was. I mean,
entertaining.
It was a great window. If I wasn't an Alabama guy, if I was any other fan base other than Alabama cheering for Alabama to lose, and that would have been a fun window.
Now, I did hear that every time Oklahoma would score, they would play it on the big screen
I'm sure
there.
they did. Why
yeah.
not?
They
Sure.
they replayed
Yeah.
it. It's the modern day equivalent of making the announcement over the PA.
Right.
We used to do that back in the day.
Where you actually premeditate and you figure out you're going to say one team like Oklahoma, or you say Alabama 3 and then Oklahoma 14.
That's exactly right. When we come back, Tyler Booker joins the show in about 4 minutes. Rodney Scott Barbecue bringing you part of the show today.
Yeah, Rodney Scott wants to remind you, you've still got time this week. If you haven't made those Thanksgiving plans and who's going to do the cooking, let them handle it all for you. Rodney Scott's Barbecue, pit-cooked spatchcock turkeys available for pre-order, RodneyScottsBBQ.com. You can actually go to the QR code that Scott has got right there on the screen. You can scan everything right there, placing pre-orders for Thanksgiving, homemade southern sides, desserts, the spatchcock turkeys, pit-cooked, smoked over the hot coals for hours, seasoned with the famous rib rub and Rod's original sauce. Support local this holiday season. Rodney Scott's Barbecue, locally owned and operated. Again, turnkey. You can get everything right there on that QR code, or just go to RodneyScottsBBQ.com.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there, on the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy, have fun out there.
Bryant Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there. On the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy, have fun out there.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
All right. Tyler Booker standing by. Show being brought to you today in part by a lot of great folks, including our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Guys, as you get older, maybe you look for ways to control or help reduce high blood pressure, cholesterol. Sometimes your diet can do that. They can teach you about that at Way to Wellness. Planforme.com, planforme.com. No contracts, no sign-up fees. The weight loss, too. They can help you with that. Medical supervision on the injection, weight loss, meal replacements, all that with Leslie and her board-certified team. Planforme.com. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
All right, Alabama's Tyler Booker joins us each week on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. And remember, a reminder, you can get everything Alabama at covercrimson.com, covercrimson.com. Great original programming there on the Cover Crimson YouTube channel. And join the website for $1, covercrimson.com. Hello, Book. How are you today?
I'm well. How you guys doing?
Doing awesome. Thank you very much. Obviously, it was not a good night in Norman. That was, I know, not the standard you expect or the fans expect, and it is difficult to boil it down to what went wrong. But as best you can, what went wrong in Norman for you guys?
We didn't execute, and we didn't stack plays consistently. We made good plays throughout the game, but we didn't stack them, and that's what went wrong.
How was the practice this week leading up to the Oklahoma game?
It was a good week of practice. Yeah, we had a good week of practice. We just had to be able to translate what we learned from practice and learn during the game to the field.
It seems like, Tyler, we've had this discussion once before this year that coming off the Georgia game, the challenge was the old rat poison, handling success. I think Coach Deion Sanders said it about his team's loss this week. They got intoxicated with success. Have you seen that within your locker room as a leader of this team? Have you guys had a hard time handling success, and if so, why?
No, I'm not gonna say we had a hard time handling success. I feel like where we go wrong, where we fall short, is we're worried about external factors, and external factors being the postseason. And what we have to realize, what we have to do better with, is treating every game like a one season game, just going 1-0 every week. And that's something that we preach, but that's something that we have to continue to enforce. Like, there is no tomorrow unless we conquer today. And that's our mindset from here on out.
Obviously, the college football playoff aspect was out there. I mean, did you feel pressure on that? I mean, has there been any talk about that? Is it anything you've even paid attention to that you guys, a lot of people thought were in the playoffs and a loss knocks you out?
No. No, that's something that we can't do. We can't allow external factors to change how we play. Like, our play and our motivation and our determination to go out and win has to come from within.
Have you guys sat down and watched the film together yet?
Yes.
Just one play in general, and I know that you guys consider him a leader in the locker room, or I assume you do. But the pick six from Jalen, it looked like he put forth zero effort on making the tackle, trying to track the guy down. It looked like he had just tapped out.
So whenever we watch film, we watch cut-ups of the game, and that's not something that we really analyze. So, but I know whenever Jalen steps on the field, he's going to give his all every single play. He's going to give whatever he has to take every single play. That's what I do know. But that play specifically, we didn't watch that exact play all the way through, so I can't give you a clear answer on that.
When they had a bye week before you guys did, was there anything that you guys saw in the blocking that you had to perform that was different from Oklahoma that they maybe have installed? Was there anything that confused blocking combinations up front?
No, we knew what we had a good grasp of what they were going to do. Obviously, just like every week, they're going to bring something that we haven't seen before, but we have to be able to adjust and perform on the field. At the end of the day, it comes down to execution. There's a lot of plays where we have a hat on the hat, but we need to just strain and sustain blocks, and everybody on the team just has to be better. We have to finish better. We have to continue to stack plays better. From me, I would say I personally have to be better. There's some plays that I could have made that possibly could have changed the outcome of the game, and Jalen would sit up here and tell you the same thing. Malachi would sit up here and tell you the same thing. Deontay would come up here and tell you the same thing. So there's just a lot of places where we have to get better, and that's what we're excited about for tomorrow morning, going out to practice. Like, we have an opportunity to get better tomorrow. So Oklahoma happened. There's nothing we can do about it now, but what we can work on and focus on is getting better tomorrow morning and making sure that what happened this past weekend doesn't happen this coming weekend.
When I was a kid, most of the Alabama and Auburn players in this rivalry game were from the state of Alabama or connecting states. Because of the great success of Coach Saban at Alabama, guys like you have come down here and become a part of this rivalry. This season hasn't gone exactly the way you wanted it. What's the buy-in? Tell the Alabama fans, what's the buy-in in this rivalry game this weekend, Alabama and Auburn, from your perspective as a leader?
The Iron Bowl is one of the biggest rivalries in sports. Like, whenever you come to Alabama, whenever you leave, all the alum, they talk about what was your record against this team, and this team. And those teams are Tennessee, LSU, and Auburn. So this is a game that means a lot to not just us as like being in the program, but everybody who has ever watched the Iron Bowl, everybody who's a supporter and a fan of Alabama, all the alumni. So this game means a lot. Like, this is one of the biggest rivalries in sports. And us understanding that, we know that we have to go out and have a great week of practice in order to succeed and compete to the best of our ability.
As a team captain, whether it be a young player or a team, maybe like Damani Jackson that has not been in this program forever, how much do you have to educate those teammates about that mindset in the Iron Bowl?
Obviously, we're educating them, but we're not doing anything above and beyond. Like, oh, sit down, you got an Iron Bowl class today. Like, they understand what the Iron Bowl is. Like I said, it's one of the biggest rivalries in sports, and they understand. Everybody who's new understands that, like, whenever Alabama's playing, you're going to get somebody's best shot. And whenever you're playing a rival, that's going to be multiplied times 10. So they understand what they're in store for this coming weekend.
I didn't try real hard at Jacksonville State, but the Iron Bowl class I would sign up for. That would be a fun class to take, Buck.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if you could explain it. I guess you probably can't. But, I describe this team as schizophrenic. How bad, the play was in the second half against Tennessee, how bad it was Saturday night against Oklahoma. But on the flip side, the Missouri game, the LSU game, you guys at times look like the best team in college football. Is there a way to explain how you guys can be so good and so average, over a course of a couple of weeks?
Inconsistency. Like I mentioned earlier, we have the ability to make the plays. We made plays during the Oklahoma game. We just had to be able to stack them and consistently stack them and understand that it takes all 11. It takes all 11 every single play. Like, there were plays where the offensive line did a great job and the blocking on the perimeter was what it should have been. And there were plays where the wide receivers were wide open, but we allowed pressure and Jalen couldn't go through his reads all the way. So we all just have to make sure that all 11 are doing their job at the same time. But like you said, we have the potential to be one the most explosive offenses and one of the best teams in the nation, but potential is nothing if you don't live up to it. So, like I said, going into practice this morning, this week, we're very excited to work and get better and live up to that potential this weekend. So we're looking forward to getting better tomorrow.
Well, he is Tyler Booker, the Alabama offensive lineman. Iron Bowl coming up Saturday, Thanksgiving before that. We wish you a great Thanksgiving, Book. I know you love to eat, so get some good food, my man.
Will do. Y'all have a good one.
All right, buddy. Thank you. That is Tyler Booker with us, the Alabama offensive lineman. CoverCrimson.com. CoverCrimson.com for all your Alabama coverage. Great original programming there on the YouTube channel, the Cover Crimson YouTube channel. Lance was part of one of the shows yesterday, and go back and watch that on demand. And also the CoverCrimson.com website. $1 for the first month. Enjoy the message board and everything else there at CoverCrimson.com.
I appreciate him showing up after a hard loss for his interview, showed up on time, and waited. In fact, he was there early, waited through a long commercial break, so I appreciate him being there. I know we pay him, but
really good kid. He cares about the program. You can tell he is pissed.
Yeah, not everybody in our history of giving back to some of the players, which is why we started doing that. Was we made a lot of money off the backs of college players. We gave a little back to them, and not everybody shows up all the time. And always appreciate. Didn't think he'd be showing up after 3 losses this year, but I appreciate him showing up on time every week after 3 losses so far. The show brought to you by our friends at Hydra Live.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, now weight loss therapy, all under one roof. Be properly hydrated for the Thanksgiving holiday coming up. You can stop in. Walk-ins are welcome. You can book online if you can't make it out. They can send a nurse to your home or business. HydraLiveTherapy.com. Very important. Mention the next round. You're going to get 20% off all the great services. Again, for more information, HydraLiveTherapy.com. Stop into one of those 2 Birmingham locations, one in Tuscaloosa as well. Tell them the next round sent you. Did you guys ever think 9-3 was on the table?
I did. I certainly didn't think 8-4 with a loss to Auburn was.
I did not. Our friends at Academy Sports as well.
That's where we're going to be Wednesday. Academy Sports and Outdoors, Highway 280 location. You can come see us and register for those tickets to the game coming up Saturday. You can register in person right there, or you can go online, nextroundlive.com, but come see us 9 to noon at the Highway 280 location of the brand new Academy Sports and Outdoors. It is in the old Best Buy right there in the Target Shopping Center. You can come see us at Academy Sports and Outdoors Wednesday 9 to noon. Register for those tickets in person or at nextroundlive.com. We'll give them away Friday, nextroundlive.com.
Yeah, no, there's no way. I think 3 losses, 9-3 was the worst case scenario.
The floor.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of coming into the season. 10-2, going to a college football playoff would have been an A. I think 9-3, I think the grading is going to be all over the place because it'd be one thing if Oklahoma was a better team and you're losing, in Norman, on a 1-score game, the same against Tennessee, not to get dominated in that second half. I don't know what the grade is.
Yeah, no,
after 11 games.
But to your point, if you said in August, what's the floor for this Alabama team if they beat Georgia at home?
Oh, 1 loss.
Yeah. You could see them dropping a road game at Tennessee, LSU, or Oklahoma back in August when you thought Oklahoma could be really good. You would have said, okay, they could lose one of those games. Yeah. Sure. Probably would lose one of those games.
Now do that after the Georgia game. The Monday we were sitting here after the Georgia game.
No, that's what I'm saying. After the Georgia win, what did you think? That's what I said. And you would think 1 loss. That would be it. You could lose one of those after Georgia. I'd have probably given them 1 loss after Georgia. Yeah. And that would have been the floor.
It certainly wasn't Vandy.
Yeah, we were talking the floor. The floor would have been, they'll probably drop 1.
Yeah.
Probably.
Never.
They wouldn't drop 2. They wouldn't drop 3.
Yes, my gosh.
People point back to 2007, and that was a crazy year because number 2 continued to lose each and every week. This is by far the craziest. Because, Florida fans are going to feel much differently after they end up going 7-5 this year, which is going to be incredible. But still, a 5-loss Florida team for Florida fans to be excited. Ole Miss at 9-3, their fans are devastated.
Yeah, they got to be.
That how can I phrase this to where it's not insulting?
Dude, Lane Kiffin, it looked like he lost his dog after that game.
Who are you insulting?
I don't want to insult Alabama.
Okay, I don't think you can insult them any more than their own team did.
I think, not that it's more surprising, I think the Ole Miss loss is probably more devastating to that fan base than Alabama's loss to Alabama's fan base.
Well, because Bama's fan base has been there so many times.
Yeah. Coming up in 4 downs, I've got one of those questions for you.
But the Ole Miss fan base had never been there. And that's why I thought it was so weird that Lane Kiffin was even talking about the diminished nature of the SEC championship game. And we brought this up. Not that he had an inside track, but we said it. We're like, your fan base has never been there.
That's right.
And you're basically talking about, you coaches talking about the diminished value of that game.
How much would he love to play in that game right now?
Oh, he'd give everything to play in that game. That would be his one shot into the playoffs. Yeah. I mean, the fact that they were in the playoffs and went and played the way they did in Gainesville, if I'm an Ole Miss fan, I would have wanted to vomit.
I mean, are they still technically alive?
I mean, as alive as Alabama is.
For the college football playoffs, technically, but for the SEC
I know
championship,
that.
No, not at all.
It's Georgia locked versus Texas A&M.
But that Texas A&M game, to me, has lost luster.
A little bit.
Of course it has.
A little bit.
Because now, with Texas losing, they're still locked in.
Yeah, Texas is locked in.
Yeah, they're locked in the college football playoff. And I thought it was going to be a situation where A&M coming off a loss, we said this, they're going to lose to Auburn, and then they're going to come in, they're going to beat Texas, and, if Texas is going to get knocked out.
If Alabama and Ole Miss had both won out,
what happens?
Texas would be the one left out in that scenario, at least would feel the pressure of that possibly could be happening. But for Lane Kiffin, it was we praised him so much, and everybody keeps Luganville did this to me this morning. I was like, I praised him so much for the way he coached in that win over Georgia. He was so mature. He took field goals. And Lugs is like, yeah, but that was because of the weather. He still chose to take the field goals there. Maybe it was because of the rain or not. And then he goes back to the same immature crap that makes you think Lane Kiffin can't have good things. 4th and 1 twice.
J.J. Pegues.
And he puts forget that. Just take the field goal first off. Okay, those are 6 more points. It makes everything a lot easier, especially at the end. You just a field goal. You don't have a touchdown. Points. Take the points. It's the mature thing to do when you're the better football team. Take the points.
They had missed that field goal, and I know that has to work in the back of your mind, right? Yeah. Especially the next time you're down there. Yeah. I just don't understand who's the best player on their offense.
Jackson Dart.
I don't understand. Like, Gus Malzahn used to confound me. He would literally take Cam Newton out of the game to put another quarterback in to run the Wildcat. I'm like,
who's that? Cody Burns?
Was it Cody Burns or Kyle Frazier?
I can't remember.
Yeah, either way.
Take Cam off, put somebody in to run the Wildcat.
I'm like, Cam Newton might be the best Wildcat quarterback we have ever seen in the history of football. I don't know why you're taking him off the field for anything, for any reason.
Overthinking.
Jackson Dart's the best player they've got on offense, especially with Trey Harris constantly injured.
Yeah, and that's another thing. If Harris doesn't re-injure the groin, they probably win that game. But like, Jackson Dart's a physical guy, too.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand taking your best guy off the field in your most important situations.
You can throw it. You can run it.
Yeah.
You can option it. You can, run pass option. You line up a 335-pound defensive lineman in a Wildcat, guess what? 99% chance you're going to run it. And then when you start running him sideways, it makes no sense.
It looked like it was blocked to go up the middle there. When you see that replay from the sky cam right behind him, I mean, it's wide open up the middle. If he goes up the middle, he gets 5 yards.
Yep.
I don't know why it went outside. I can't believe it was called outside.
McElroy was pulling his hair out. If you're going to put him in, run him straight, and let's see when those two big bodies collide who falls which way, it's a first down or not.
Yeah, the one thing you don't want him is running laterally, and then I love him laying 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, pointing first.
Yeah.
I'm like, buddy, you never got close.
You didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Dude.
Man, I say a lot of dumb things on this show, but going back to SEC media days, I can't believe I pushed Sankey on all the 2-loss teams. It should have been the 3-loss teams.
I know.
What were you doing?
I know. It actually ruined a great pullback for us next year at SEC media days.
Yeah, Greg's going to say, see, Lance, I told you it wasn't going to be an issue.
For those that aren't paying attention, Texas has 1 loss. Georgia and Tennessee have 2 losses, and every other SEC team has 3 losses or more.
It's insane.
Yep. I did not think we'd get there.
How do you guys feel? Because we know, look, the Big 12 has been fun to watch, but it is a league that, I mean, there's no really good team in the Big 12. It's down year.
Let me ask that question because I want to phrase it a little differently because I think you're comparing it to the SEC a little bit. Dr. B bringing you part of the show here. Dr. B, the guy that's got LT hatless today. Looking good on a Monday.
My man, Dr. B, helping me grow a little bit of the hair back. If you're starting to thin out, be preemptive on this. I did that non-invasive treatment watching the Rams-Eagles last night on the couch. I do it 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time. My hair has more than doubled in thickness for more than 20 years. Women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive instructed procedures. He uses that experience, his advanced training, and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today and that great staff, 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
All right, taking a look at some of these point spreads and rivalry weekend. How about Ohio State, a 20.5-point home favorite over Michigan?
Michigan's best performance against Northwestern, but
I still think I would play Michigan in this game. The problem is, Ryan Day can be classless at times, like at the end of that Indiana game, punching it in there. I mean, Travion Henderson.
I didn't mind that.
Dude, that is Bush League. Travion Henderson showed class. He should have gone on in, but he drops, and then you show up your own player who could have had a touchdown by running quarterback sneaks when they're not taking timeouts.
They're a Big Ten team, man. Stop me. That's the way I look at it.
Anyway, Ryan Day will try to run it up on Michigan, but I think Michigan might be able to hang around.
It was a little bit of little bit in pop and circumstance, because what was going to be talked about was bad snap, short field, and a punt return. That most of your points came from special teams.
14 points right there together on special teams.
I still win the game.
You did. It was window dressing.
But I think my biggest problem was it wasn't necessarily punching it in. I mean, the other coach isn't taking timeouts, and I know there was something to Cignetti. Didn't want the game to get away, so didn't want them to score there. But if your own player drops on the one, have your players back, show class, and take a knee.
I kind of agree. That is the aspect that bothered me more.
Yeah, that was what bothered me the worst.
Tennessee, an 11-point favorite at Vanderbilt. How about South Carolina catching 2.5 at Clemson?
Yeah, my fear is everybody's going to be on South Carolina in this game. I think South Carolina's a better team right now, but if Clemson wins that game, doesn't play in the ACC championship, there's an outside shot they could get an at-large.
They could. The game's in Clemson, Death Valley.
It is in Death Valley. 2.5.
So basically, you take out the home field advantage. It's basically a pick 'em or slight edge South Carolina.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, South Carolina's playing better football right now.
Yeah. Notre Dame laying 7 at USC in a big game for college football players. Sneaky.
I don't know, man.
USC's offense is so bad.
I told you guys Notre Dame would win by how many over in Army?
$1 billion, and they did.
Yeah, I knew it would be a curb stomping. Notre Dame is playing great football right now, but I still think in the Coliseum that could be a really good game.
Dude, USC UCLA was so boring.
It was
the
bad.
Second half.
Gosh!
Second half, I had to set my alarm on my phone every 15 minutes just to wake me up.
No, I fell asleep.
I normally will never take an edible during a Rams or USC game.
That's a good rule.
Just to have a little, clarity to it. It was so boring at halftime. I was like, here we go.
Here we go. I am all in. And the Iron Bowl right now, 11.5. Alabama's favorite 11.5. All those games at mybookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on. We're going to give you a casino bonus right now. mybookie.ag. Code next round for the casino and live casino. A 300% bonus. 300% bonus on your initial deposit to play with in the casino there. We'll even throw in 50 extra spins. 50 extra spins from us. mybookie.ag. Code next round. That is mybookie.ag. Code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag. Code next round.
And our friends at the Pants Store, game day headquarters. If you're going to the Auburn, Alabama game in Tuscaloosa, get some stuff from the Pants Store. Also for the holiday season, pantstore.com, pantstore.com. Great locations in Leeds, Birmingham, Huntsville, Tuscaloosa, and Auburn. All the Bama and Auburn polos, hats, quarter zips, sweatshirts, and everything. Gentile, Antigua, Cutter and Buck, Horn, Legend, all the ladies' dresses, free alterations, free gift wrapping, the New Balance and Hoka footwear. Nothing says Roll Tide and War Eagle, especially during the holidays, especially during Iron Bowl week, than our friends at the Pants Store, pantstore.com. So you were asking about what was described as basically a flat circle of the Big 12. You've got really no alpha, and you really got no omega in the league. They're all about 16 of the same type programs when you build the league. And you've ended up with 9 teams with a chance to make it into the championship game.
On the final weekend.
4 of them are tied right now, and none of them play each other.
That's what's wild.
It's not the perfect storm for the Big 12.
No. And Iowa State and Arizona State have, Kenny Dillingham's meltdown Saturday.
Oh, that was incredible.
Bad luck
his
for him.
meltdown when he didn't manage the clock right, or his meltdown after he didn't manage the clock right?
Yeah, that was just a terrible look.
But when you're standing over going,
yeah.
And cussing at the officials with the crowd around you.
F and BS.
But say you're 34 without saying you're 34.
Scott's got it pulled up.
I mean, look at the rage on his face when he's yelling at him, too. Yeah. My God.
So with that said, as we look at that, these teams in Arizona State and Iowa State have the...
Look at this.
Wow. now.
I mean, the rage.
I mean,
that reporter right there, that's Taylor from Auburn, I think.
They can play their way into this. I mean, before the season, I don't know what the astronomical odds would be. Arizona State. Wait, who is the girl? Is that his wife behind him, the blonde?
I think so. Somebody told me that was his wife. Yeah.
Boy,
she's like, embarrassed. Sweetie, settle down.
But what do you think the attendance will be for Arizona State, Iowa State? For a chance to go to a college football playoff.
In Arlington, Texas, in that big old cavernous stadium,
Get the tarps out.
Absolutely. Jerry will not want that crowd.
Yeah. By the way, okay, two things there.
All right.
How does he not get a flag for cussing at the officials right there?
I thought the same thing.
And how do they not get a flag for rushing onto the field?
So I checked on that. There is no, believe it or not, there is no penalty for fan. This is something that's going to be addressed in the offseason.
It's got to be with all the field stormings.
With all the field stormings and all the bottles thrown on the field, there is no mechanism right now for officials in the game to penalize the crowd. I learned that this weekend. Now,
so in my lifetime, we used to stand above the ball for as long as they wanted to until the crowd got quiet. So the visiting team could snap the ball.
That's right.
That happened in my lifetime. We finally changed that rule.
We've gone away from that, but there is no penalty. Like people like, just throw a penalty. There is no penalty on throwing stuff on the field. There is no penalty on the crowd rushing the field, because that would have made a huge difference. BYU completed that ball down to the 2.
Yeah.
If they had gotten 5 yards for intentional grounding, which is what they were arguing for, or any sort of unsportsmanlike for the delay.
Should have gotten 2.
I mean, that
in my world, he would have gotten flagged for the way
he would have gotten
acting.
flagged there. And then what's BYU looking at that point? I know it came down to a Hail Mary where they completed on like the 4-yard line, but you've got like a legitimate shot in that situation.
Yeah, give them 30 extra yards, you can run a play.
Yeah. So there is no mechanism now. That could change in the offseason, because what we're doing for rushing the field is not working, by the way. There are more field rushes now than there ever have been, and the fines are bigger than they've ever been. That is not discouraging the field rushing.
Yeah, all we've done, we made it a cool thing to do.
It's become an Instagram moment.
Yeah, no matter what the time is, and it's not going to go away. I wish Kalen DeBoer in Oklahoma rushed too early. I wish Kalen would have just walked across and said, let's not even bother clearing the field.
Last thing I want to do is take another snap.
28 seconds. My guys are already on their way to the locker room. Let's get the heck out of here. Should have walked over with hat in hand. If he may have tried to do that and couldn't get over there, for all I know.
It's going to be tough to enforce, though, as an official I talked to yesterday said, okay, that was easy, and Arizona State was all Arizona State fans. That might have been easy in Austin, because there were a lot of fans throwing stuff on the field. He goes, but now do the SEC championship game. That's a 50-50 crowd. I mean, am I going to penalize just because that team got a bad call? I assume it's only their fans throwing stuff, I mean, I see that side of it. It's slippery slope.
Yeah, you got to be able to use the judgments there. I think.
So my point was going to be, though, on the SEC to the Big 12. Like, we talk about how average the Big 12 is. I think the SEC is pretty average this year.
We'll find out in the playoffs.
That's a discussion people are having, and I can make a counterpoint to that when we come back. Okay, and I may be incorrect. My goggles of Southeastern Conference love may be incorrect. Hey, I did it on Friday. And I hope you will too. Is it too late to order from New York Butcher the turkey? I'll text him during the break and find out. But I did it on Friday.
I can find out. I think you're still fine because he hasn't told me otherwise. But look, this is the way I've done it the last couple of Thanksgivings. You can get the turkeys from our friends at the New York Butcher Shop. Go see Jim and the great staff there. The turkeys are fresh, all natural, hormone-free from Joyce Farms, one of the best poultry producers in all of America. Turkeys are fresh, but they can't smoke or brine them. They also have those side dishes prepared in-house. We'll feed 8 to 10. However, they do have smaller sizes that feed 4 to 6. Don't forget that they've got great desserts like pies, cakes, banana breads, great wine selection to pair with your turkey, taking reservations, stop in one of those 2 locations. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well done service.
And our friends at Ghost Energy, always looking to see who got ghosted this past weekend. Alabama and Ole Miss's playoff chances likely ghosted. Ghost Energy and Ghost Hydration. Authentic flavors, 0 sugars, and no BS. Look for Ghost Energy and Ghost Hydration at all retailers that sell energy and hydration drinks near you. It's our friends with Ghost.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Man, I love a good meal.
I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there. On the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy, have fun out there.
You can't wait for college football talk every Monday, so we don't make you wait. Ryan Brown here for The Next Round. You can catch ESPN's Tom Luganbill with Jim Dunaway on Monday morning live at 7 a.m. I'm with Brandon Marcello on the middle 8 at 8 after The Next Round. Hear from Alabama coach Kayla DeBoer and Auburn coach Hugh Freeze. After the coaches talk, Fox Sports analyst Brock Hewer joins Lance Taylor for Unlocked at 1 o'clock. All college football, all day Monday, anywhere you get The Next Round.
Hang out with The Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out The Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, 10 o'clock hour. We'll get to our 4 downs in just a second here. This hour being brought to you in part by our friends right there at Rodney Scott Barbecue. A great place to, listen, we tell you all the time, it's going to be a lot of turkey this week. Before and after turkey, as you watch football, tailgating, whatever, Rodney Scott's Barbecue. But they can handle the turkey for you.
They can. The spatchcock turkeys, we've talked about it before. They're pit cooked, smoked over the hot coals for hours, seasoned with the famous rib rub, Rod's original sauce. Serve James Beard award-winning barbecue. Stop in for lunch or dinner. Support this local holiday season. Rodney Scott's Barbecue, locally owned and operated. To place your Rodney Scott's Barbecue Thanksgiving meal pre-order, go to RodneyScottsBBQ.com. There's a QR code right there from the homemade southern sides, desserts, the spatchcock turkeys right there in the pit. You can get them on that QR code or RodneyScottsBBQ.com.
And our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing, Greg from Pell City. Listen, I know it may sound, silly, but how about a gift of a new roof for your house?
Hey, you use it every day.
That's right, and maybe a good landing strip there for Santa to come down.
Yeah,
with
there
the
you
sleigh
go.
on top right there. But you got to take care of your roof. It's the most important part of your home. Without it, your home's pretty much just Tropicana Field. Doesn't have a roof anymore. Storm Restoration Roofing will take care of you when the unexpected happens. Call the guys we trust. That's Storm Restoration Roofing. It's Greg from Pell City. Family owned for over 20 years. He and his wife, Andrea, own the company. Free quote, free evaluation, and that free no-cost roof inspection. He'll get up there and tell you, man, you got some loose shingles. That's going to cause you a problem. Something's not fitting right around here. Make sure they take care of you. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. Storm damage, roof replacements, insurance, roofing claims, restoration, and inspections. It's our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. All right, I look at the sound. Forrester does such a great job sending out sound on Saturday and Sunday. I just look at it. Is there any of it that's coach talk from Kalen DeBoer, Hugh Freeze, as you would expect with the momentum? Let's go cut number 9. Give me Jackson Dart here. I mean, his interception's late.
Oh.
They kept erasing it and then sending him back out there to throw another one.
It was almost like miscommunication, but it wasn't.
No, it was like he was hell-bent on throwing one.
Yeah. So here's what Jackson Dart had to say afterwards.
Yeah, bad decision by me. I think the only thing I can really say right now is sorry. Sorry to my teammates. Sorry for my coaches. Sorry for the fans. Can't lose these games. This one's going to hurt for a really long time. That's all I can really say now is I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, you feel for him there.
Well, you could feel for the whole team. And like Lane Kiffin, again, it really was like he had a pet die. I mean, you could see, and I guess we're about to hear from him. I mean, completely gutted. You just wonder if it got a little better as the night played out. With A&M going down and Alabama going down.
Actually, it probably made him feel worse.
Yeah, that's right, because they were locked in.
Here's Lane Kiffin.
Very disappointing outcome today. A game of a lot of missed opportunities. Go 0 for 3 in the red zone, get no points out of it, miss field goal, and get stopped twice on 4th downs. Lose the turnover margin in a tough place to play against a team that, has played really good when that quarterback plays. Credit to him. It's a really good player that made a lot of plays in the first half when we had him back there. So it's really disappointing in the outcome. And obviously a lot was at stake, and we didn't come through. So a lot of missed opportunities.
Yeah, and then there's Florida on the other side of that. The joy that Billy Napier felt. He was in tears in the postgame interview. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of things, that he got that vote of confidence, that I think the fan base is behind him. And the most important thing, his team is playing their asses off, and that should account for a lot when you're talking about whether or not you're going to retain a coach. We all agreed they made the right decision weeks ago when Scott Strickland said he was going to be back. Here is your mind-blowing stat of the day. Florida has now beaten back-to-back ranked opponents for the first time since
Urban Meyer?
2008.
Yeah.
Been a long time.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy. No, it's crazy to think about for a program like Florida.
So you didn't even do it in 2009. Wow.
Yeah.
Or 20.
Or 20.
Yeah, that's true.
Florida was in the East, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's also true. All these things are true. Florida played like a team that was loose, had nothing to lose, was having fun, and Ole Miss played like the weight of the world was on their shoulders.
What was so impressive, Brown, you watched that game, is what Florida was able to do. I mean, they got their sacks, they got their quarterback pressures, but what they were able to do in the run game with that big, great Ole Miss defensive line. I mean, Ole Miss is 4 defensive linemen. They're NFL guys. And I thought Florida's offensive line, and when he had time, Lagway played fantastic. Florida's playing good football.
Yeah, and you're starting to identify playmakers. Montrell Johnson has been really good. The Elijah Badger has been really good. You know, what they were able to do on this Ole Miss offense, completely throwing them off balance. They were 3 of 14 on third downs. They forced the 3 turnovers. I mean, Florida's one of those teams. Would you want to play them right now? Alabama, Florida, and Gainesville.
I wouldn't want that. No.
Nah, the way Alabama plays on the road, no. I don't think they would want that game at all. And that's the other thing is...
Tell me which team shows up.
Well, Alabama on the road's been pretty consistent outside of LSU.
What color uniforms did Alabama wear in Baton Rouge?
So you're telling me when it's the road whites, that great Alabama road white is the problem, Jim?
Yeah. It may be Kalen DeBoer's kryptonite.
They thought they were a home team at LSU? No, they were in the second half.
They had the Crimson on Saturday.
They've been very consistent on the road, and it ain't good. I would say one thing that's helped Florida, too, is this fan base is galvanized, I think, behind Napier. And all of a sudden, that stadium has become a much more difficult place to play. And, I mean, it's just Florida team's playing pretty good. I think you got a lot to be excited about moving forward with Napier and Lagway if you're a Florida
This is
fan.
what you got to be frustrated about if you're Ole Miss and Alabama. Teams like Florida and South Carolina are getting better, and they don't have the rosters you've got. And coaching comes into that, right? And I'm not by any means saying that Shane Beamer and Billy Napier are better coaches than Kalen DeBoer and Lane Kiffin. But if I'm an Ole Miss or an Alabama fan, I'm beyond frustrated because these other teams are getting better.
Okay, LT's about to give us our 4 downs, brought to you by our friends at Slice. Right before that, though, let me tell you that our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama are there to take care of you now with all of your health needs, guys. As you get older, you want to stay on top of anything that can go wrong in your body. One of those is your urological tract. That's why they have 16 locations, 35 urologists at those 16 locations to take care of you. Everything from prostate health to kidney stones and everything in between. They'll take care of vasectomies and everything. To schedule an appointment today, 205-930-0920 or visit urologycentersalabama.com. And also our friends at Slice, which brings you our 4 downs.
Yeah, 5 great locations from our friends at Slice. I had an opportunity to eat in there on Friday night, sat at the bar. Just fantastic local pizza, local ingredients, created by the late Jeff Bajaya. His brothers Jason and Chris continue to celebrate his legacy. And guess what? A little miscommunication on Friday. Slice will be here tomorrow, Tyler.
Ooh.
No, Tyler excited about that, where he doesn't have to run out and get everybody lunch. 11:30 tomorrow, Slice. Looking forward to that. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
What was the worst, most embarrassing loss this weekend, Ole Miss or Alabama?
I might have to separate those two. Most embarrassing was Alabama. They got embarrassed on the field. I think the worst is Ole Miss because...
I can live with that. I see what you did there.
Yeah, because Ole Miss, this is a place they've never been. Like, Alabama fans are not happy to miss the playoffs. Do not get me wrong, but Alabama fans have at least tasted it. They know what they're missing. Ole Miss fans don't even know what they're missing.
Yeah. They barely know what they're missing, Brown. 10 playoffs we've had with the 14 playoff, 10 years. Alabama was in it 8 times.
Yeah.
They were the last team out 1 time, and they missed it in 2019 with the Tua injury and the loss to LSU and Auburn down the stretch. So 8 of the 10 times they were in it, and they just missed it 1 time. Just missed it 1 time, and the other time 2019. So to your point, Ole Miss, they don't know what they're missing. Alabama fan probably can live through it without it, but Ole Miss, they were in that game. Alabama was never in that game. I'm going to say Alabama, more embarrassing loss.
Yeah, well, I think it is the more embarrassing loss, and I think really both sides. I mean, we're going to look up in a couple of weeks, and you're going to look at the 12 teams in that playoff, and teams like Alabama, how in the hell are these teams in and we're not?
Yep.
Second down.
100%.
There's going to be a lot of teams in there. You're like, I cannot believe I'm watching them in the playoffs.
I've never asked this.
Is this question 2? Is this second down?
Yeah, this question
okay.
2. I've never asked this before, but I think it's kind of timely right now. Who's at their current job longer, Hugh Freeze or Kalen DeBoer?
For the first time of many of these.
Oh, man. For the first time. I mean, if you'd asked that question any other time but now,
I mean, I think it's a legitimate question because Kalen DeBoer is making a lot of money, but he is going to find out how bad 3 losses is from a fan base. And if he loses next week, I saw somebody, there was an article on Outkick, and it was how upset Alabama fans are. Somebody was like, I'm renting a U-Haul and I'm driving it through his living room if they lose to Auburn.
Yeah. That would be a bad idea. I think you go to jail for that.
Listen,
I don't know how to answer this, Jim. I really don't, because I don't know.
Well, first, I've got to find out how much Kalen DeBoer and his family likes the transition.
Oh.
Sometimes you take a job.
Yeah.
Probably less than they liked it Saturday morning.
Yeah, I would guess right now it's not they're not feeling the best about it, but that can change. All you got to do is win a few games.
Yeah. I just, I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, Hugh obviously.
I mean, this could be a last stop for Hugh.
Yeah.
Like where he is in his career. I mean, obviously it could be for Kalen DeBoer if he go 17 years like Nick Saban.
And I think this is the best job Hugh has had. And it's the best job Kalen's had, but he had a pretty good one at Washington. When Hugh was at Ole Miss, this Auburn job's a lot better than what Ole Miss was when Hugh was there.
I mean, we are putting a lot of stock in a win over Texas A&M. I mean, if they had lost that game, if they had blown a 21-0 lead and lost that game.
Again, that would have been the third time at home this year you blow a double-digit lead.
I mean, they still are betting favorite to have a losing season.
Yeah, I mean, they're an 11.5-point dog in Tuscaloosa.
I know there's great celebration from Jeff and a lot of people of rushing the field after the win, and there's no problem with doing that. Go have a great time.
No, but I'm just saying, what do you think the reaction is today if they don't pull off that last drive?
People are ready for him to be gone.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, my God, another huge blown loss at home.
Landmine believer, stop LT. An offensive coach can't succeed until he gets quarterback. Milroe, it's awful, all caps. See what he does with his quarterback. Milroe has been incredible, though. That's what is...
He has been at times.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what's so... I try to, and I said this yesterday on Cover Crimson, you guys help me out. When in season have you seen a quarterback be the best in all of college football and then at times be in the bottom half? Like, I don't think I can ever... I've never seen inconsistencies like that from a quarterback. I mean, can you guys help me out? I couldn't come up with one.
It is his goods to his bads. Like, his Georgia game this year is the best game he's ever played.
He was the Heisman favorite. He was the number one
overall
pick.
It changed during the game, in fact. At halftime, he became the Heisman favorite.
And then he came back on everybody's radar, and he's a first-round pick, maybe the first quarterback off the board after LSU.
Yeah, Rex Ryan saying, we talk about Beck being the first quarterback. Somebody got to tell me what the kid from Alabama's not.
Well, when he was walking into the stadium on Saturday night, they had the graphic, Kuiper's number 3 quarterback in the 2025 class.
Yeah. And I think we would all agree his Saturday performance is the worst he's ever played at Alabama. So we've seen this year easily his best and easily his worst in his career. And I can't think of anybody who's got a bigger gap between absolutely their best and absolutely their worst.
Yeah. From being maybe in his best, he's a first round, maybe the first quarterback off the board, and in his worst, I'd hope my team doesn't draft him.
I'll give you one, but now it happened more linear. It was more linear.
Yeah.
He went from his worst to his best. The gap between the worst we saw of Joe Burrow in college and the best we saw of Joe Burrow in college is a significant gap.
Yep.
But he was improving. That's the difference here.
But I remember, and this will be one of those things, as long as we do this show, I will always remember Dunaway saying, he's not an average quarterback. He's a pretty good quarterback.
No, Dunaway had his back.
But Burrow was an average quarterback. Like, what we saw from Milroe, that was a quarterback that gets benched. And again, you also put in the lack of effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow.
But what has Ty Simpson shown you guys ever?
I have no idea.
I've never seen the guy play.
No idea.
So you're going to throw him out there on the road at Oklahoma with playoffs on the line? You're going to throw him in the Iron Bowl to start this weekend? That's my point. Is everybody is always like, bench him. Well, I've seen Ty come in and mop up. I've seen him do.
Joe Burrow's worst game. Joe Burrow's worst game was at number 7 Florida in 2018. 19 of 34, 192, 2 picks, no touchdowns. That's the worst he ever played. That sounds about like Milroe Saturday. And then we saw Burrow's really, really good. But there again, that's different. He went from bad to good.
Third down.
Joey Chestnut, 41 years old today. Better overall career, Joey Chestnut or Jamarcus Russell?
What in the world are you doing?
This is the guy that eats food, right?
Yes, that's it.
And then there's Joey Chestnut.
Yeah.
Boom, boom.
That's what you did there.
Look, I think the competitive eating is really, really dumb. He has made millions doing this. And Jamarcus Russell, what is he known for? Like, he was a really good quarterback at LSU, but he's known as maybe being the number one top bust of all time in the NFL. Is that fair?
That is fair. Better career, probably Joey Chestnut. It's a career I'm just disgusted by, but he's at least been the best at his business.
Yeah, never does
the
anything.
name in that.
That's right. He's the only name I know,
like,
Jim.
Other than maybe Kobayashi.
Well, those two. I know Kobayashi. I know.
I can't
Joey
believe people
Chestnut.
still watch it. Like, first
can't
year I
either.
could understand, man, these guys are going to try to eat 70 hot dogs.
Yeah,
Tune in, then you see them dip it in the water and you're
it's
out.
awful.
But people to watch it for, 20 years.
Jamarcus Russell for me because of the, at least he had some great college moments.
4th down.
Joe DiMaggio would have been 110 today. Better overall career, Joe DiMaggio or Joe Montana?
He would have been 110 today?
Yep.
I'd still pitch around him.
Give him 4.
He'd slap it. Joe DiMaggio or who?
Joe Montana.
Joe Montana.
I think it's DiMaggio.
I think it's DiMaggio.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one, though. But I'd probably go DiMaggio.
How many DiMaggio games did you ever watch?
0.
Yeah, I would 0.
Well, I mean,
but I mean,
saying.
and that's the thing. When you look back at DiMaggio, his career, what he did,
yeah,
absolutely insane.
Yeah, it was really, really good. I mean, how good was the pitching? How good was the fielding? The little leather gloves that looked like they were handmade.
I mean, he played in the same era as your greatest player of all time.
Willie Mays?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd take Willie Mays over Joe DiMaggio.
Well, I think a lot of
I
people
think I would too,
but
yeah.
I'm asking against Joe Montana.
How many games did you see Willie Mays play?
I saw Joe Montana quarterback a lot. All right, that is 4 Downs brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Yeah, stop in for a slice and a salad for lunch. Pick up a couple of pies on your way home from the Hot Mama, the Soul Pie. They've got this very veggie brown. You're not going to like it because there's no meat on it.
I've had it. I've told you that. The
It
veggie,
is so
it's very
freaking good. And
Yeah.
their ranch is some of the best. I don't know like if Taylor has confirmed that or not, but the ranch from Slice, fantastic. Stop into one of those 5 locations today.
And our friends at Johnston RV Center, johnstonrvcenter.com. Tell us about those great folks, Brownie.
I-65 exit 304 in Coleman. 334 in Decatur is where you find them, and online, johnstonrvcenter.com. Boy, my wife was commenting on the way home from church yesterday. It's maybe the prettiest leaves we've had in a long time. You go see them in an RV from Johnston RV Center. Great prices right now, like travel trailers as low as $145 a month, fifth wheels, savings at $45,000 and more. You can make sure you've got lifetime protection with that RV warranty forever. It's a lifetime warranty on anything new and qualifying pre-owned at Johnston RV Center. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, johnstonrvcenter.com.
Okay, remember you heard it here first. Here is the nightmare scenario for the SEC. And it's going to piss me off if they do this.
Nightmare scenario, go.
3 teams make it.
Okay.
One of them's the SEC champion, so it gets the 2 seed.
All right.
And the other 2 play each other in the 8-9 game.
It's a possibility.
Even worse, the SEC champion is the 1 seed, and they force the 8-9 matchup where the winner would get the other SEC team, and they play themselves down to 1 bid before you get to the Final Four.
I don't think there's any way they could be the 1 seed.
Let's say
No,
Ohio,
but it's
I don't see it.
If Ohio State beats Oregon, they'll be the one.
Yeah,
I don't
mean,
think the
if
SEC
Ohio
could be
State
the
was to
one.
lose to Michigan this week,
Yeah.
Okay, but
but even if they do that,
to me, if you get 3 in and they put, even though it's been averaged by some, you put the best conference in college football, 2 of their 3 bids in the same opening game, that'll piss me off to no end. It'll piss me off to no end.
Well, it's on the SEC. Should have more teams in there,
yep,
Jim.
it's true.
I just don't. They would do it. They will pair them up, and it will piss me off to no end. All right. Tell us about our friends at Michelson Laser Vision.
205-969-8100. That is the number that I called. As for Amy, again, one of the best decisions I ever made was going to see Dr. Mark Michelson. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. Now, 2015 vision better than 2020. Do you or a family member need to make your benefit selection at work now? Do you know your FSA or flex spending can be used to help you see clearly without the hassle of glasses or contacts? Yes, LASIK at Michelson Laser Vision might be a good choice choice for you. Book your free LASIK consultation today with Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson. Find out if you can use your FSA or Flex Plan funds to get freedom from the hassle of glasses or contact lenses. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
And our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. They bring you the 11 o'clock hour all the time, but even at 10:27, I can tell you it's the best fried chicken out there.
Plan ahead.
Right there. It is unbelievable. Brined overnight, cooked to order, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, and so much more. ChampysChicken.com.
I'm a believer in the MyBookie.ag chat room. What if the SEC champ is 2 seed and then it's the 7-10 game? Because then 7-10 knockout, they get the 2 seed. You're guaranteed to be down to one SEC team.
It's the same scenario as 8, 9, 1, just different numbers. Same scenario.
It's more likely,
Yeah, works out the same way.
Look out, Jim.
Yeah, they try to do that to us in baseball. And all we did was continue to work around it and keep putting multiple teams out in Omaha every year. They've been waiting for years to try to get their shots at the SEC, and here they go.
Well, the SEC's allowed them to do it, though. It's only SEC.
Yeah, we'll talk to Joe Klatt about that, who, by the way, Klatt said, road games in the SEC. He said, please tell me next time you hear Klatt and anybody else that broadcast the Big Ten talk about Big Ten weather. Oh, it's he said it. Oh, it's raining now. We definitely have some Big Ten weather now. Like it never rains in the South. Come on, guys. We're back in a moment on TNR.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there. On the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy, have fun out there.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan-Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
All right, we're about to talk to Joel Klatt. SEC road games so tough. So tough in the SEC.
Look at him already laughing at you.
But my God, that Big Ten weather. Klatt went to Big Ten weather on me. And he said Big Ten weather when it started to rain in Columbus, and I screamed at the TV. But SEC road games, Klatt.
Klatt with us courtesy of mybookie.ag, code next round. For that 300% bonus in the casino, your sign-on bonus, 300% of it in the casino. What is up, Klatt? How are you, my friend?
I'm good. All you SEC folks, you guys are comma apologists. Do you know what that means?
Comma apologists. Go ahead.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. You know, you think about an argument with your significant other, and you get to the point where you're like, I'm really sorry. And like most sane people just end with a period.
Right.
But you SEC fans end an apology with a comma. I'm really sorry that you feel that way. Road games are really hard in the SEC. You know, it's like, no, they're just hard everywhere, guys. Yeah. Like, this is what, and it drives me nuts. In the 4-letter, gosh, everybody on there is just like, just a propaganda spewer. Everything is about like, oh, you know, it's just tough to win and on the road in the SEC. It wasn't tough for Cal. It wasn't tough for Miami in the swamp. But now all of a sudden it's supposed to be just brutally tough for Ole Miss. It's like, you know, Ole Miss has losses to 7-loss Kentucky, 4-loss LSU, 5-loss Florida. Like, beat it. Like, I'm sorry. It's over.
He's not an elite coach, but that's another story. I've said that forever. But I do have a serious question
now
for
tell
you,
me
Klatt.
how tough it is playing in 55-degree chilling rain.
Well, I mean, it was more like 45. Trust me, I was freezing. And like, if Kirby wants to sit there and whine and cry about like how tough it is to play at Ole Miss against that defense, I want them to come down here and see how tough it's like. Well, it's not tougher than playing at Ohio State, is it? With the number 1 defense, total and scoring, is it? Like, please tell me you guys see the ridiculous nature of the entire narrative. Please tell me you see this.
It has been a strange year, and I don't even think that sums it up. But I do want to ask you this because we got a million things we want to get into with you. But Jalen Milroe against Georgia, against LSU, Klatt, he looked unstoppable. And, you know, guys like Rex Ryan and Mel Kiper were saying this is the number 1 overall guy. This is your Heisman Trophy winner. And then the way he played against Tennessee, I didn't think it could get worse. It did Saturday night against Oklahoma. I'm sure you saw he throws the pick 6, doesn't even make an effort to tackle the guy, which is just baffling to me. But I tried to ask these guys, have we ever seen somebody play like the best quarterback in college football and then play like one of the worst that would be benched? I can't recall it.
That's a great. I haven't heard it posed like that. Like, have we ever seen this type of peaks and valleys, right? Because, yeah, you're right. Like, at his best, Jalen Milroe is the most dangerous quarterback in the country, you know? But then at his worst, he's the most dangerous quarterback in the country, you know? And it's just about which team that danger is happening for. Yeah, that was I was not expecting that out of Alabama, and certainly out of Jalen Milroe. It's problematic, you know. It's very problematic. There's some sort of disconnect there with the way that they play in some games versus others, and you know there is a bit of this that can be attributed to a bunch of teams, right? Not just Alabama, and I'm sure you guys, and in particular the folks listening to this show, want to talk more about Bama, but 7 top 20 teams lost. A bunch of teams that controlled their own destiny, as Bama did, lost. And there's something to the fact that, you know, there's a lot of truths at play. One is these are kids. And so you're going to get inconsistency, as anybody that has kids knows. And two is when you play the game around you versus the game in front of you, you're typically going to get beat. Dion talked about this after that Colorado loss to Kansas. There's so much narrative being thrown on every team at the end of the season. Well, they control their own destiny, so they're for sure going to do this in the future. And I can tell you this, guys, when you're not focused on the details in front of you, you get beat. And the teams that don't have a future, like Florida, Oklahoma, Kansas, what are they focused on? The details in front of them. And success in this sport is about attending to the details in front of you. It doesn't matter the way that you played against LSU when you dropped back to pass on the road against Oklahoma. None of the past success carries you into future success. The only thing that controls the way that outcomes evolve and are produced in your current game is how you are playing in that moment. That's the best part about football, and you can tell that there are a lot of teams out there, and maybe players more specifically, that were focused on other things outside of the game in front of them. This was Nick Saban's superpower. And I'm sure we'll get to this, but this is what I'm sure is so alarming for you guys and for the people listening to your program. You guys are great football fans down there, great football fans. And you have seen something that is unusual because it defies what I would consider to be the human characteristic. Our human instinct is to look ahead, to get fat and happy, to listen to positive things and think that about ourselves. Nick Saban didn't allow that to happen for 15 years. That was unusual and uncommon. And now that that's kind of the expectation, it's this rude awakening to how unique it was for a guy to be that rigid as far as the process and the details. And, I think back to a couple of weeks ago on game day when he gave that nothing speech. Remember that? I would give him the nothing speech. What does, your recruitment rankings give you today? Nothing. And he would have them repeat the nothing speech, and that's clearly what a bunch of teams need today.
And it wasn't just the loss. It's the fact that I think all of us would sit here and say, we've watched Alabama football a long time, Klatt. I got to go a long way back to find a performance that bad. It's not that you lost. That performance is unacceptable in Alabama football, period.
Totally.
I mean, it's just that's what blows me away the most.
This is not against oh man, OU is so good.
No, they're 5-5.
They were 1-5 against their last 6 FBS opponents.
I know.
That's what's alarming to me is, yes, the game was bad, but it's not like you can say, oh man, that was Georgia in Athens or you know what I mean? Some team that we can be well, that's a national championship team, or even if it was Texas in Austin or Ohio State in a non-league game, or some team that is well, they're going to go win. This was Oklahoma, who was 1-5 in their last 6 against the FBS.
Yeah,
that's staggering.
Klatt, one of my best friends, 375 pounds, but he told me yesterday, he said, look, I think I could have made the tackle, or at least I would have made the effort that Milroe didn't.
You would have got to him. I know this guy.
Yeah, he would have at least gotten to him. But, I mean, what does that say to your teammates? Obviously, the fan base is pissed off about it, but I didn't get that because the game was still in play. You can't really give up a touchdown. You got to at least try to limit them to a field goal. I mean, I know you've probably seen lack of effort like that before, but what do you take from that?
That's the problem. I knew that you were going to ask about this, and there's no easy way to answer it other than that is a massive lack of judgment, which is unfortunate because I've been a huge fan of Jalen, and I'm sure you guys have as well. And he stuck it out. He didn't transfer. There's so many things that you love about this kid and what he means and what he's done. And in one instant, so much of that positivity is kind of thrown away. And this is going to be, in some ways, I don't want to say the lasting legacy, because I think that that's unfair, but it's certainly going to be something that people remember. And that's unfortunate because his career deserves better than that. And unfortunately, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that overwhelming frustration in a moment, ultimately resulted in a lack of judgment, because I have no idea why I was the idiot when I was like the clown with the sand in the bottom. I chased a Miami guy down. I had no business I had turf toe. I'm running. I'm 5 yards behind him, and I look over, and John Beeson suplexes me, gets a Nevin Shapiro bounty. It's on YouTube, by the way. You can YouTube it. You can show all I think it's like Klatt gets blown up or something. There's a turnover. I'm chasing him down. No business. I'm not I shouldn't have even brought that up. But I'm just saying, like, at some point, your instinct as a competitor should kick in.
Joe Klatt is with us here as we continue our conversation on college football. I'll go back to the early window. Your game's on at the same time, so I don't know how much you went back and watched Ole Miss in Florida, but it's on my second TV. And there are times in that game
better
where
be on your second TV.
Yeah, it was. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, why do you continue to go for 4th and 1 and not take field goals? And that's something Lane's always done. And this is universal in college football. When did we start devaluing early in games, taking 3 points and going for it on 4th and short? When did that become the thing to do you think? Is it all analytics?
Yes. Everybody has gone full into analytics, and analytics at their core is hyper aggressive. The entire basis of analytics is how to win the game, get the last possession, like all these things that are in the most aggressive category possible. And so, for instance, there's some companies that I talk to that do these analytics things, and they send me these videos, and they bring up game situations, and they just say like, oh, this is a definite go, this is a definite not go, this is in the middle. And the thing that I'm less aggressive than the analytics, I'm just going to tell you that, right? Like, and they can point to the math all they want, but there are moments in individual games that are different than the aggregate. You see, analytics both in baseball and football are a function of the aggregate. We have a season's worth of data, and the season's worth of data suggests this in this moment. Well, that doesn't take each moment for its own decision. What exactly is going on in this game? How is my defense playing? How is their offense playing? How is my special teams playing? What's going on? Do I feel like this is going to be a lower scoring game or higher scoring game? I can't just view this through some sort of aggregate of data in a tunnel. And I'm with you. I think like taking points is a serious business. Here's where I think analytics has really helped teams is when they get to the minus 45 to the plus 35. That area outside of field goal range where teams are now much more aggressive, I totally agree with, because you're trying to create points. Once you have points in your back pocket, or at least the assumption of points and you're in field goal range, I think that you should ratchet down the aggressiveness, because points puts pressure on the opponent. And that's just left. And I think what's frustrating to me is that coaches, and I'm not saying Lane does this specifically, but in general, coaches kind of shrug their shoulders and say like, well, that's what the analytics say. It's like, okay, but what do you say?
That's right.
You know, like what did the situation for you say? And I get in arguments like this with head coaches all the time, and more specifically the analytics crowd. They'll call me and be like, hey, you said something in that game and it was wrong. And I was like, you think it's wrong? I don't. So, you know, it's still a decision. Well, the math says, and I'm like, okay, but the game said something different. The math in the game can say something different, I think.
I agree.
To prove that I had Klatt on my main TV.
I did too, Klatt.
Yeah, I started there. Now I got to be honest with you. It got out of hand. I had to go over.
You guys are the best.
I had to go over to Florida Ole Miss.
I left at the end of 3.
Yeah, Florida Ole Miss finished the early window, but I had you on early. I don't know if y'all were there early enough before they even went to Klatt and Gus. They had Gene Hackman doing the locker room speech with Dream On from Aerosmith over it. Freaking amazing, Klatt. Tell whoever at Fox put that together. They did I know it wasn't you. They did a tremendous job. I know you're not sitting there editing.
It was definitely not me.
Guys, I got the open this week.
That bump was incredible.
Hey, how great was that, though?
Was.
It gave me chills. I went back and watched it, too. I rewound it. I was like, I got to see that again.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
They say in tournament basketball, you never talk about your next opponent. That's the way it started. So good.
And man, they go right down and go up 7-0.
That was such an impressive drive to start the game.
It was,
yeah.
and it blew me away because I said, Klatt, all week, I thought Indiana would keep it close because I thought they would keep it close in the trenches. I was completely wrong. I thought more so Indiana being able to get after Will Howard because I think that is an underrated defensive front from Indiana. On the flip side, they could do nothing with their offensive tackles with those edges. I do want to bring this up before I forget on that game, though, because I said it earlier. Brown kind of disagreed with me. Travion Henderson goes down at the 1-yard line. Cignetti's not calling timeouts. We know why. He doesn't want them to score. But if your player goes down when he could have scored a touchdown, why do you show him up and score there at the end?
Show Travion up?
Yeah, I mean, I think if your own players, I'm talking about his. I think Ryan Day showed up his own player. Travion could have had an easy touchdown. He goes down on the 1. They're not taking timeouts, and you are trying to punch it in at that point.
I think that. Well, I think that the way Curt Cignetti has talked since he got the job was resonating. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So,
you know, the basketball game.
That's right.
Hey, Michigan sucks and Ohio State sucks too, and the aura of confidence. Now, I'm not saying that he shouldn't do that because in a lot of ways, and I've talked with him about this, he said, listen, I had to go way over the line in order to get people at Indiana to kind of wake up from this malaise of mediocrity and to try to like figure things out. Now, when you're doing that, you're gonna shake the tree a little bit, and you can't get upset if one of those branches that's falling when you're shaking the tree hits you in the head. And I think that's what happened. I think that there was a side of Ohio State that was like, hey man, this guy's going to run his mouth for the better part of 6 months. Then like, fine, here we go. Here this is. Now, the Travion angle is different. I actually thought Travion did the wrong thing. He should have scored. It extends it to 3 possessions. So just like the actual game situation suggests a score, but once Cignetti was not taking a timeout, that was very much a message to a guy that had been very confident and boisterous over the last few months about his program and other programs in the conference.
Difficult loss, Klatt, for your Buffaloes at Kansas, but that Big 12 is such a mess right now. 9 teams could still win the conference.
Yeah, that's wild.
I guess you got to favor Arizona State. I mean, that would be, or at least to get to the championship game. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. They control their own destiny, and Iowa State controls
That's
their own
right,
destiny.
yeah.
So if those two teams win, they're in. There is a 4-team tie at the top, which also includes BYU and Colorado. Colorado is in the more precarious spot than any of those teams tied. They need to win, and then 2 of the 3 above them to lose. That's the easiest way to think about it. Any combination of 2 of those 3 lose above them. If they all lose, then it's an absolute. I think we should probably just like old school, just like roll a ball out there, and everyone starts from outside the lines, and it's like whoever gets the ball goes. It's just like we should do something fun along those lines. I have no idea what happens if we start getting into the 6, 7, 8-way ties in the Big 12. But that is a flat conference. There's very few peaks in that conference, and to be honest, outside of maybe Oklahoma State and Utah, just because of the injury factor for Utah, there's very few valleys. So anybody in that conference can beat anybody. And to be honest, guys, as we're getting to the end of the SEC year, that's kind of the SEC as well. There's a couple of peaks, and then I think we're seeing a conference that is fairly flat, which is dangerous. That's a dangerous proposition when you're trying to navigate your way towards seeding and towards getting yourself into a potential championship game.
I never thought Indiana was going to win the game again. I thought they would keep it closer. It really got off the rails with the dropped snap on the punt. I thought that was.
I mean, it's a 7-7 game at that.
Yeah, almost a half,
I
too.
thought that's what really got the ball rolling in the wrong direction. I don't know if they were going to have success against that Ohio State defense, which is very, very good. With all that said, I continue to see on social media as the game played out, this team sucks. They don't deserve to be in. They haven't played anyone. You've seen them multiple times. I think they should be in. Is this one of the 12 best teams in college football?
Now, think of it this way. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but they gave up 14 points essentially on their punt team, which means that the score that they had in the fourth quarter, as much as they did not move the football, that would have brought them within a possession if their punt team was just competent at that point. You know, they held Ohio State to 316 yards. That's a season low. I get it. Their offense wasn't great, but Ohio State, as I said earlier, they have the number one defense, both scoring and total, in the country. So I don't think that they played as poorly as people think. Did Ohio State get after them? Yes. And was it a little too big for Indiana? Yes. I'll just say that, guess what? Top 5 matchups for your first time doing it in that season on the road, no one plays well. Oregon and Ohio State. Ohio State didn't play well. Georgia and Alabama. Georgia didn't play well, certainly in that first half. So it's like, and now we just want to jump on Indiana and say, like, we'll see. Well, no. Hold on. Time out. And if the argument is just about the schedule with Indiana, then let's make it about the schedule. You guys ready for this?
Yep.
Now, look in the top 10 and look at the strength of schedules in the top 10. Indiana's is now 52nd, not 106th. 52nd. Miami's 59th. SMU, 77th. Notre Dame, 78th. Now you start to, let's rate the losses of all those one-loss teams. Indiana at Ohio State. Miami, Georgia Tech, not even close. SMU, BYU. Notre Dame, Northern Illinois. And then you look at, like, what has Indiana been against their schedule when they've won? Well, much more dominant than any of those other 3 teams against their schedule. In fact, their margin was the number 1 margin in the country coming into last week's game against Ohio State. I'm not going to be surprised if the committee has Indiana still above all of those teams. They're all one loss, and if you compare resumes, actual resumes, and you look at it, and you can watch the film, you can do all of these things, Indiana has a better resume than Miami, SMU, or Notre Dame. To me, it is not a fact or a question of, is Indiana a bubble team? They are firmly in. I think Tennessee is firmly in. The bubble is going to come down to the ACC championship game loser and then potentially like a Clemson, South Carolina winner. That's what we're going to debate at the end of this season. But we're not going to debate Indiana because the data is putting them firmly in. They've got a better loss than those other. They've got a better schedule than those other teams. And they've also been more dominant in the 10 wins that they have had.
All right, you can see the big noon kick. Ohio State and Michigan, one of the great rivalries in college football. Saturday, 11 a.m. on Fox. Klatt will be with Gus and the All-American girl. The world-famous Ohio State Buckeyes, as Gus reminds us, their nickname.
Can we try it on the way out, guys?
What are we trying?
Dunaway. Try it. Just say, like, it's hard to win on the road, and then just stop.
It's really hard to win on the road, especially with Big Ten weather. Exclamation point.
That. Like, now we're in. I would have a period would have sufficed too. That would have been incredible.
It's hard for BYU to win on the road. They had all those Arizona State fans on the field. I mean, it's difficult.
I don't do a period.
It's hard for Colorado to win on the road. It's hard for A&M to win on the road. It's hard for Indiana to win on the road. It's hard for Penn State to win on the road. It's like we can just put period at the end of that sentence. We really can.
My marriage counselor would tell you I don't put a period at the end of apologies with my wife either.
That's right.
It's always like, baby, I'm sorry, but I was on the golf course for 4 hours and I was really tired when I got home.
Oh, but babe, I bogeyed 17 and lost the match.
I missed a 4-footer that cost me all my dots. All my dots.
Kiffin had a quadruple bogey on 18.
Dunked in the water on 18.
Hey, and James Franklin almost did
He's
too.
Sitting in the fairway. He's like on the 18th hole, a par 5 finishing hole. It's like all he needs is a par to win the tournament, and he just Van de Velde. And I mean,
give me the hybrid.
Especially when you say all week long, you know, I don't even think we want to play in the SEC championship game. I bet you do now. I bet you do now.
News, yep.
Hey, Klatt, if Penn State doesn't get those 4th down conversions, especially the punt, They lose that game against Minnesota. I mean, who's getting more hell today, James Franklin or Lane Kiffin?
James.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's just flying under the radar because of all the other great games.
Yep.
But my goodness, the fake punt.
I know.
was insane.
I'm
It was
watching in the quad. I've got the YouTube TV going in the plane, and I'm watching. And I literally put my hands on my head, and I was like, "What is going on?" And everybody's looking at me in the plane, and I mean, that was wild.
Plane is not crashing.
Yeah.
It's just James Franklin, everybody.
Yeah.
The marshal marches you off in handcuffs. It was a fake punt on the 34.
It was James Franklin. I was.
It was a direct snap, sir. I couldn't believe it.
Big new kick, Ohio State, Michigan. Thank you, Klatt. We'll see you Saturday. Have a good Thanksgiving.
Got it. See you guys.
Yeah,
hey,
happy
have
Thanksgiving.
a great Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for this show. I really love coming on and talking with you guys. Your fans are awesome on social. So thank you, and appreciate it.
Yep.
We're thankful for you, too.
You know we
man.
love you, brother. Take care. Klatt with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. MyBookie.ag brings you Klatt code next round for that 300% casino bonus right there. You make your initial deposit, they give you 300% and a casino bonus. MyBookie.ag, bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code next round.
Also, our friends at DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. You can go and get the legend, a tribute to Coach Nick Saban and his 6 national championship seasons. You can order it right now for the holiday season. Pick one up. It is done and ready to go. You can get that 2025 calendar. It's the perfect gift for the Alabama fan in your life. Sometimes after a loss, I like to flip through my old calendars to yesteryear of great Alabama moments that Daniel A. Moore has painted. Coupon code TNR, 20% off right there with the calendar. And if you want to remember back when this season got Alabama to #1 in the country, remember that? Deuce is wild. You can get that pre-ordered right now, all at DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. Show also being brought to you by our friends at Inverness Country Club, LT.
The Inverness Country Club, just a great place to find your sense of community. They've got memberships that fit everyone, from the social membership to obviously the golf membership, childcare, also a massive plus. You and your wife want a day of golf or tennis. Guess what? You can drop the kid, go have yourself a day on the court or course. Maybe you work from home. What about working from the club while they watch your kid? The best days happen at Inverness. Take a tour of this unbelievable club. Call Aaron. Tell her the next round sent you. 205-991-8608. That's 205-991-8608 or online, ICCalabama.com.
And my friends at the Pants Store. That's a funny joke over there. See you, Buff. I'll get to that in a second. Our friends at the Pants Store, Birmingham, Huntsville, Tuscaloosa, Auburn, and Leeds, your game day headquarters. Bama and Auburn polos, hats, quarter zips, and of course, you get the sweatshirts and stuff. It's the great Christmas gift. Man or woman, you open up a Pants Store gift and you put it on instantly on Christmas morning, and you get ready for another football season or maybe a bowl game or maybe 11% chance of a playoff bid. Also, Gentile, Antigua, Cutterbuck, Horn Legend, all the great stuff there. Nothing says Roll Tide and War Eagle like the Pants Store, pantsstore.com. CU Buff says, will Daniel A. Moore be painting the whiff, the Jalen Milroe tackle?
Well, no, because he's not close enough to the guy. Like, Milroe wouldn't be in it. You'd have to have like a separate box.
Side by side.
And you've got dude running, and he's just stopped with hands on hips. That was the most disturbing thing to me that came out of the game.
I can tell you've been hot about it.
I think something internal. There is nothing worse than a powder. And it seemed like he was pouting that entire game.
When we come back, more Jimmy Powder, and we'll do our stock report, trash, and a lot more. This is the next round, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Tonight, Bud Light game night's a Monday night. We're out tonight. We're down at Top Golf, 5 to 7 tonight. 5 to 7. Come hang out as we get ready for a big Monday night game. Come take some swings and have some free Bud Lights with us. Bud Light game night down there at Top Golf tonight. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there, on the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right
now,
price.
You guys know how
Academy,
I feel about my fashion.
have fun out there.
However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out. Flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat. And please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
Here at The Next Round, we love our guests, especially our 2024 football regulars. Auburn, Alabama fans, we've got your guys. On Mondays at 9:25, we'll be joined by Alabama offensive lineman Tyler Booker, and Tuesdays at 9:25, we chat with Auburn quarterback Peyton Thorne. Join us and rep your team.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
A little recruiting news to tell you about right now. It's that time of year. We're getting close to that time of year where we're going to actually sign people. Ohio State has hosted the #1 offensive tackle David Sanders Jr., and we just now had a commitment, I believe, from him, if I'm correct, that he has picked Ohio State over Auburn. He's a Parker kid. Am I right about that? No, excuse me, Auburn may be flipping him back. Okay, let me get this right here. Naheem Offord is flipping back from Ohio State to Auburn, according to Steve Wolfong. So big prediction there for Auburn if that ends up being the get. 5-star plus cornerback Naheem Offord flipping back from Ohio State to Auburn.
Was he on the field Saturday?
I hope he's
He
one of
rushed the field?
hoping he's one of the guys that ran past little T to get on the field this past weekend.
Lance says that's mandatory commitment there. If you do that, if you've rushed the field, you have to sign before you walk out.
I mean, it is a selling point when you're just trying to get bowl eligible and you've got that kind of energy in a stadium. I mean, look, you don't want to be in that situation. I didn't think they would be in that situation in year 2 under Hugh Freeze. But if you are one of these recruits where they're selling the future and, hey, look, you can bring a championship back to the Plains, and you look around and you just wonder, damn, can you imagine a 10-1 versus an 11-0 in this stadium?
How much fun that would be. All right, our friends at Odie's bring you part of this hour. Also, our friends at Champy's Chicken. Tell us about Odie's first.
Odie's Tavern, just a great place to go to get lunch or dinner or just sit back, happy hour, watch a game or two. Black Friday is going to be a great place to hang out for Odie's rivalry weekend. Stop and enjoy the great food Rodney Davis has been cooking up for more than 35 years. Odie's Team Trivia every Wednesday night. This Wednesday, I consider it the most energetic Odie's trivia crowd each and every year. Have you ever done a Wednesday night before?
I have not done a Wednesday night, so this is going to be my my maiden voyage.
Yeah, pretty incredible because it goes straight from us doing trivia to live music. So this weekend, you'll have live music basically every night, but stop and see Will Haver, that great staff. 2 locations, Crestline, the original, and the newest location in Edgewood. It's Odie's Tavern.
And our friends at Champy's world-famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. They're your 11 o'clock sponsor year-round on the show. We appreciate them so much. Brined overnight, cooked to order fried chicken. Open for lunch today. Open on Black Friday when you're out and shopping, and all the great stuff you get on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Champy's Chicken with Sterling and his crew there. All right, before we get to the stock report, a couple of just big thoughts when it comes to college football. Who benefited the most from the SEC upsets this weekend? First off, Tennessee.
Tennessee was the biggest winner. They were doing the Gator Chop at Neyland Stadium, and that is a long-standing rivalry between those two. But I had people texting me from the game, and then I saw it on social media. They're like, you're not going to believe this, but the Tennessee fans are actually doing the Gator Chop. I thought I'd never live to see this, but this is what the playoff has done to us. Yeah. That was the Tennessee fan that texted me that.
I think the ACC is going to end up getting 2 teams.
All right, sell me on the 3. You said there's no way it's 3. Sell me on the 2.
But that was my next one. Was the second ACC team is now in the mix.
Well, I mean, look, Miami wins, SMU wins. You've got one loss,
and they play each other.
Yeah, you don't ever want to punish a team. I mean, much like, and I know it feels different. It's the ACC championship to the SEC championship. But, if you're a one-loss team and you lose that game and it's a tight game, I could see both of those teams getting in. My only other sell would be Clemson is still a brand. I don't think they're deserving, but if they were to beat a red-hot South Carolina team and they don't play in the ACC championship game and they're sitting there with 2 losses, depending on a couple of other things that happened this weekend, I didn't think we would have this past weekend that we had, so nothing's going to surprise me now moving on. I think it is far-fetched. I think it's about as far-fetched as Alabama or Ole Miss still getting in this. But, do you look at a 2-loss Clemson and then you look at the 3-loss Ole Miss? I mean, who do you put in front?
Oh, I mean, Clemson's in front of Ole Miss in that scenario. But the question would be, for Clemson to get in and not be in the ACC championship game, that would be 3 that you're going to put in. You're not going to put Clemson in over the ACC championship game loser. But it is open now for the ACC to get 2 in. Indiana obviously benefited because I think before the midday games were over with, just with the Ole Miss loss, you started going, well, that helped Indiana a lot. And then by the time Alabama and A&M had lost, you were like, well, that helped Indiana a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Kurt Cignetti was asked about it in the postgame when he answered the question. And
he is becoming hard to like.
By the time.
Oh, but guys, play that. Can you give me cut? Because watch what he does at the end. I don't know if
he smiles.
He nods and winks, telling you, yes, we're still in there. Give me cut 10 real quick. Kirk Cignetti gets asked if he thinks the team still belongs in the playoffs. Here's Coach Sig. I was bothered a lot more by Will Howard doing this, putting out cigarettes on the sidelines than I was.
When the opposing coach goes in front of his basketball crowd and says, Purdue sucks, you know what? Michigan and Ohio State suck too.
Yep.
You can't tell me you're not asking for a little blood feud.
But I think what Klatt said, I mean, he had to get the attention. Well, it was so outlandish. Everybody was laughing back then.
Yeah, that did not bother me, what Will Howard did.
Here is Coach Cignetti afterwards getting asked the question, and see if he winks and nods.
Do you think going into this last week that you should be one of the 12 teams that's in the playoff based on your body of work to this point?
Is that a serious question? I'm not even going to answer that one. The answer's so obvious.
Hey, laughs.
Yeah.
And the wink
and the nod.
Yeah.
No, that was he was condescending there.
But the press conference wasn't even really over.
I mean, all the guy had to do was follow up. Well, you just got your ass curb stomped. Yeah. That's the only reason I asked the question.
I didn't see that game that way.
I didn't. I mean, but the second and third quarters were bad.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I mean, look, first quarter, fourth quarter, I thought they played with them. I do think it came down to special teams. It was like Indiana was in slow motion when they were trying to tackle Caleb Downs. And then the drop punt. I mean,
next is Notre Dame for me. I think Notre Dame could lose to USC and still get in.
I don't know.
Oh, man. Yeah, I agree. Oh, yeah.
Their last 9 games, I know it's been against nobody. Their last 9 games, they've outscored their opponents.
Oh, they've dominated. They haven't had a close game since Louisville, which was the last week of September.
Yeah, that's why, look, let's really look at the scenarios this weekend. I mean, all of our fun scenarios are out the window. If Notre Dame loses, they still could be in.
Yeah.
Texas A&M, Texas, both can still be in. What is really a significant game this weekend that plays a team out of this?
I'm not so certain about Notre Dame.
Oregon can lose to Washington. Not a big deal.
No.
Yep. I'll run through them for you real quick of the big games.
I don't think there's anything.
Ohio State could lose to Michigan. Still be in, right?
Yep.
Tennessee losing to Vanderbilt. That could play
that's one. That's one.
South Carolina, Clemson in the elimination game. The other big winner before we moved on to a different topic was South Carolina because I do think there's an at-large possibility for
back
them
in the discussion at least.
Georgia could lose to Georgia Tech.
Not a problem.
They're still going to be in.
I mean, they're still in the conference championship game regardless of that.
Penn State could lose to Maryland. I think they're still in.
Oh, they're in.
Boy, it's a bad
Yeah, but they're still in. It's crazy.
Yes. Notre Dame losing to USC. I think they're still in.
I do too.
I think.
Miami can't lose to Syracuse because then Clemson would be in the ACC championship game. SMU could still lose to Cal, go to the playoff, the championship game, win that one, and they would still be in. Arizona State, wild scenario. I think there's a path for them to lose and still go to the Big 12 championship game, but probably not. So that would be an elimination game. Alabama and Auburn are both out.
I mean, Texas A&M is
Texas A&M.
I don't know if it's an elimination for Texas. It absolutely is for A&M. There's zero doubt about that.
But Texas could lose and still go to the
probably
playoff.
still get in.
Yeah, would still get in.
Yeah.
Oregon could lose to Washington. They still get in. Iowa State needs to beat Kansas State in Farmageddon, and Houston and BYU is basically an afterthought.
I mean, last weekend killed this weekend. It was a fun weekend.
It was a fun weekend, but you're right.
One.
I've been looking so much forward to
this weekend died so last weekend could live.
I mean, that sucks. Just because of the hostility in these rivalries and what they really could have meant. And now, I don't know, man, it has lost a lot of buzz. It has gone from a complete 10 to 7, 6.5, 7.
Before Brown tells us about McCurry, and we'll get to our strike report, tell us about Gray's Tree Services. They were actually at Brown's this weekend.
Actually, today. They couldn't make it out on Saturday. They are there today, Jim, cutting up some trees for me.
Well, you will give us a full update on that.
I'll let you know how that went.
That great crew are going to do a fantastic job, as they did at my house months ago. Family owned and operated for over 25 years right here in Birmingham. They are the experts in high-risk tree removals, pruning, soil health treatment to strengthen your trees and plants. Trusted by nearly every golf course in town and the Birmingham Zoo. There is no competition. Call 205-281-6100. That's 205-281-6100. Tell them the next round sent you. You can scan the QR code right there or just visit graystree.com.
All right, so we give you the stock report every single Monday. It's presented by McCurry Van and Car Rental, the local rental company you can depend on. All kinds of vehicles to choose from: trucks, SUVs, passenger vans, easy to rent, in and out fast. Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, Coleman on 2nd Avenue Northwest, Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa, 256-559-1003. That's 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com. Hit it, Tyler.
The College Football Spotlight.
Stock up, stock down. College football stock report.
All right, start us off. LT, you go first, man.
My stock up, Devin Neal, the Lawrence, Kansas native. He absolutely, like Colorado, as much as their defense has improved, it looked like the 2023 version. They were gashed, 7 possessions, 7 scores. Devin Neal, guy's still running. I mean, guy was incredible. Had 4 total touchdowns, almost 300 total yards. En route to the 37-21 win over Colorado. My stock down both Alabama and Ole Miss. Games that they're double-digit favorites in on the road. they blow both, and they blow their college football playoff hopes.
Do you know how many punts Kansas had?
That would be 0,
That's
bro.
0 punts in that game. My stock up, I had to look up his spelling because I remembered he had if I told you there was a player from the Navy Notre Dame game that had the Army Notre Dame game had 7 carries for 130 yards, you would have said, "Oh, that triple option's hard to stop." Nope, it was Notre Dame player. Jeremiah Love, 7 carries, 130 yards. His last 2 games, he's been incredible. 137 against Virginia for 2 touchdowns, 130 against Army for 2 touchdowns. He's averaged 18.6 and 8.6 in his last 2 games. He's running the football very well.
I said, coming into this game, and he was one of those guys I had in DraftKings this weekend. Him and Riley Lynn were running the football, and the way their defense is playing deadly right now, my fear is, can they consistently throw the football, and especially if they were ever to get behind. That was my key to that game was Army's going to get behind. Army can't play catch-up, and that game got away quickly. And the one Love run where he actually, I don't know what the vertical was, 40-plus inches.
He cleared the guy by a good foot.
That was insane. And then just stuck the landing. Yep. So athletic.
My stock down is SEC officiating, and we are beyond time for the Sky Judge. It is, the time has passed. This is an easy fix. Way too much money on the line in college football right now. We're spending money everywhere in college football. We're making the facilities better, the players better. Give the refs some help. I mean, it's a tough job. I admit it's a tough. We get on the refs a lot. That's a tough job. Give them some help, man. Give them a Sky Judge. Most of this stuff, it's not going to make it perfect, but most of this stuff could easily be fixed by a Sky Judge.
100%, and I'm glad you said it that
Thanks,
way,
Jim.
Brown, with the Sky Judge instead of full-time officials. Full-time officials makes no sense to me, especially in college. What are they going to do for the other 9 months? When they're out there and you have so many officials you'd have to have, it'd be a whole workforce of basically Maytag repairmen just sitting around for 9 months training and watching film and stuff and doing spring
make them work
games.
the spring leagues. Yeah.
But a Sky Judge, one person looking at a monitor and they can correct the mistakes.
Yeah, I mean,
why
look,
not?
even if you had the year round, you're still going to have mistakes with the Sky. I mean, you really can't.
No, I mean, just take the Alabama game, for instance. In the air very quickly. Hey, guy was off. He was on the line of scrimmage. He was not covered. We got to overturn that one. In the Auburn game, hey, look, I know you thought the tight end made contact. He did not. He just ran his route. There was really no contact there. I mean, if there are egregious, every game's on TV, we can see it. And what's crazy about the Sky Judge, it's going to be more controversial at the stadium, obviously, because they don't see the same thing. 9 times out of 10, the recruiting or the officiating expert comes on, and right away, they know it was right or wrong.
Yeah. Right away.
Before the next snap is even.
And I'll tell you another one. So after the illegal touching penalty, and DeBoer is in that guy's ear and is going nuts, what it also does, and there is a human element to this, that guy is probably still sitting there on a Monday in his office job feeling like complete shit.
Yeah.
That takes the burden, and I know these guys are getting paid, but it takes the burden off those guys.
Yeah, it does free them up to be like, somebody's got my back if I miss that.
Yeah,
call.
and if I miss the call.
If I've got a bunch of Oklahoma coaches saying, he's covered up, and I throw the flag, because did I see covered up? Did I see covered up? You got some backup. That's
and
right,
if it gets overturned, guess what? Everybody forgets about the bad call.
Yeah. It's an easy fix, and I just don't know why we're not there.
Yeah. My stock report, I'm going to start here and then work my way. Sports media. I cannot tell you how many times I heard over the weekend, we don't need a 12-team playoff. We only need a 14.
Let's don't do that.
We only need a 14 playoff. Look, if we had a 14 playoff this year, it'd be so easy. It'd be Oregon, Ohio State, SEC champion, and we'd be figuring out who the fourth one is. No, the 12-team playoff is awesome because we've had so much chaos, so many meaningful games. Is it going to be muddy? Yes, it's muddy. It's disgusting trying to find those 12 teams. But just look at all the games that become much more meaningful. I mean, Alabama's lost to Oklahoma, other than just pride, wouldn't have meant anything in a 14
Well, I think
playoff.
the NFL's almost more predictable now. When you get to, can you guys tell me who's going to win this national championship?
I cannot.
I got no idea.
Probably bet on Georgia right now, but that's just on brand.
Yeah.
Same way I'd bet on Kansas City when it's probably going to be
But,
Detroit.
this Ohio State defense is the real deal.
Yeah, until bad Carson Beck shows
I know,
up again.
that's the problem.
Yeah,
But
bad Carson Beck versus good Jalen Milroe. It'd be a hell of a game.
I've seen it once.
Yeah.
I saw half of it anyway.
Yeah.
But
It
to your
flipped
point,
around in the second half.
But to your point, Ole Miss, Florida, without the playoffs, that's I can't believe Lane lost that one.
Can't believe Lane lost that. Lost a chance at a New Year's Day bowl game.
And you can't tell me if you're just wanting better regular season games, that Florida's level of play was not raised because they knew they could cost Ole Miss a playoff spot.
Oh, yeah.
You can't tell me that didn't factor in to what Florida did on that field Saturday. 100% it did. They knew what they were doing.
Oh,
and you can't tell me that the pressure of the playoff didn't factor into Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. Of course it did.
Oh, and I'm sure Billy Napier in that locker room before was like, hey, look, this season has not played out. I'm proud of you guys the way you're playing right now. But you know what we can do? We can serve them a shit sandwich, and we can send them home and make sure they don't get to a college football playoff.
Did you see those kids in Oklahoma? We knocked Alabama out of the playoffs.
That's right.
That's what they were saying.
Yeah, there's no doubt they raised
and that
the level
fan
of play.
base. You know, I had a couple. I'm sure you guys did too. I had multiple people, sending me some shots from the stadium, and they were like, "This place is going nuts."
Yeah, I had a buddy that was up there. He was like, I did not know what to expect. I thought we'd go up there and run right through them. He said their fans were very nice and very crazy in that game. I would play with 11 Danny Stutzmans on defense. So that guy, you want to talk about a guy that plays all out. Alabama had no answer for that dude. That Danny Stutzman can play football.
Senior day, man.
No, I mean, I think that played a factor in it. And no, I'm not going to say that. I think that played a factor in it, that senior day.
Our friends at Hemphill bringing you part of the show today. Hot and cold, man. It's back up to 76 today. You got to be versatile.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. That is the number you need to call. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you.
And they bring you Lance'sLock.com, and you got a chance for Monday Night Football tonight. And I don't know if you're going to play a little Maui Classic. It goes early today, and then late night, Auburn at 8 o'clock on ESPNU, followed by Dayton in North Carolina at 10:30 on ESPN2. Winners play each other tomorrow. Losers play each other tomorrow. It's a fun Maui Classic.
It is. I really took a deep dive on Auburn and Iowa State. I ended up not playing it.
-4. Auburn's -4 at mybookie.ag.
Yeah, I mean, it's number 2 versus number 8 in the Ken Pom, number 4 versus number 5 in the AP poll. That is another great basketball
Another
game.
handicapper I respect did send me his plays earlier. He does have the Auburn Tigers tonight in that game. I think that's just going to be one of those. I want to sit back, watch it, not necessarily have a side to pull for. I do have the side and total tonight in the Harbaugh Bowl. Got 2 plays in the NBA. You guys are going to love this. 7 plays in college basketball tonight. 11 plays. Coming off another winning weekend. We were 2-3 in the NFL. Again, I'm very objective when it comes to my Rams. I love the Rams in that spot last night. And if you guys probably watched it, they went right down, fumbled in the red zone. They were 0 of 8 on third downs, and they couldn't do anything for Saquon Barkley. I mean, they couldn't. That kid, the Giants might be the dumbest organization in all of sports for trading him. Not only trading him when he was going to take less money, but trading him in division.
I know. That is crazy to think about.
Memphis and UConn, 1:30 on ESPN2 today. Is that one of your basketball games?
It is not. I don't have anything going off till 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock today.
We saw Memphis in person, and I saw UConn in person win the national championship. Obviously, their rosters change. Interesting start to the Maui Classic. And some of those tournaments going on. Bama tomorrow night, taking on number 1 now in the Ken Pom Houston.
One more point on Emily Grace's amazing prediction, her 3 guarantees of 2 Group 5s. Is it a possibility if in Boise had trouble with Wyoming on Saturday night?
Genty got hurt but came back.
If SMU if they do win out Boise and beat a ranked UNLV team in the Mountain West Championship, and Tulane, I know Army took on a little bit, but if Tulane takes care of business against Memphis and then beats Army in the AAC championship game, and they're really impressive in those 2 wins, is there a chance you could get to it?
Yeah, it's just going to depend on who your Big 12 champion is at that point and how far down the rankings they are.
I don't
think
so.
I think the door closes on that if it's Iowa State and Arizona State. They're going to be ranked too high for Tulane to pull past them, right? Where are they in the AP?
Tulane was already 20th, and Iowa State was 22.
Yeah, but where's Arizona State?
State's going to jump over. 21 is where Arizona State was. They're going to jump over Tulane.
Yep.
Now, this is the AP poll, so this is
but you can
less important.
It is less important, but you can go by it just a little bit. Like, I think if Arizona State jumps up there, they would probably jump Tulane by Iowa State.
Yeah, but there's no way Iowa State should be ranked ahead of Tulane.
I
Iowa
agree.
State, they had to fight to beat 5th-string quarterback. I've never seen that in my career. Utah down to their 5th-string quarterback
Story of
who
their season.
played in that whole game and led them to a go-ahead touchdown with 5 minutes and 15 seconds left, and Iowa State had to come back to win that game. They have every right to play for an automatic bid to be in there, but they do not deserve to be ranked higher than Tulane.
Okay, hypothetical because it's already happened, but if Tulane's one loss was Kansas State and they didn't play Oklahoma, they just had another crap win, do you think at that point they get in?
I think
Because if you're watching Tulane, I think you guys would agree. I mean, Tulane is as good as 3 or 4 teams in front of them.
I think what our guy John Summerall needs is whatever the most chaotic scenario is in the Big 12 to play out and get some of those unranked teams playing for a Big 12 championship.
Yeah, you need Arizona State not to win the Big 12
That's right.
championship. They're going to be ahead of you. You need one of those teams that's way off the radar
That's
right
right.
now to go in and win the Big 12 championship, and you just take care of business.
Yeah.
Or you get a Big 12 invite next year, and
One of those
Tulane in
two.
the Big 12, and all this is solved.
One of those two. That's
Because
right.
Tulane would probably be playing for the Big 12 championship.
This
I
year,
think they would.
With the way the Big 12 is going, I wouldn't hate them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, Tulane would beat Boise right now. But Boise, I mean, look, their one loss is at Oregon, so they keep winning. It's not pretty, but I think Tulane's better than Boise.
I would agree. All right, tell us, if you will, one more time, Brownie, about our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag, and that sign-on bonus for the casino.
Yeah, Lance mentioned the Harbaugh. What would he call it? The Harbaugh? Or the
Harbaugh.
Harbaugh
Harbaugh.
Bowl? Harbaugh tonight. The Harbaugh tonight.
Just think of how you like your eggs.
I'm excited about that
Hard-boiled.
game.
Are you now?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Baltimore's at L.A. 2.5 is the point spread there, and the Harbaugh. The Thanksgiving Day games, by the way. Lions minus 10.5 at home against the Bears. Cowboys minus 4 at home against the Giants. That Cowboys ending yesterday was insanity. I don't know if you guys are watching that with them.
Oh,
and the
my
Commanders.
gosh.
They get that touchdown and then miss the extra point.
I know y'all love the red zone, and I never really watch it just because I got them all on. But those 4 games in the final 5 minutes
It was crazy.
of real time, not game time.
Yeah.
On the red zone?
Yeah.
It was clicking too fast.
Yeah, I know. Scott Hansen could not keep up with it.
Yeah. Like
And
Maggie.
he's the best in the business.
Maggie walked by up in my sports room, and she's like, how does that not make you have a seizure?
Yeah.
And I was like, usually it doesn't click this fast.
Thankfully, the Dolphins had it salted away, so that end of the game went quick, and I was able to get over to the red zone for the last 5 or 10 minutes. It was fantastic. And speaking of the Dolphins, they're 3-point dogs on the road at Green Bay Thursday night. All those games available. And the college basketball that we were talking about, college football as well at mybookie.ag. Code next round right now is going to get you that 300% deposit bonus in the casino and the live casino, all available right there at mybookie.ag. 300% bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Mybookie.ag, code next round. Mybookie.ag, code next round.
And our friends at the Pants Store, holiday season's here. Go ahead and slide in and get to pantstore.com, pantstore.com to check everything out, or go by the locations, Leeds and Auburn and Tuscaloosa and Huntsville and Birmingham. It's your game day headquarters. Bama and Auburn gear this Iron Bowl week, plus shopping for the holidays. Great gifts right there, and they'll give you free gift wrapping. Gentile, Antigua, Cutter & Buck, Horn Legend, you know the name brands. New Balance, Hoka, you know the name brands. You also know nothing says Roll Tide and War Eagle like the Pants Store, pantstore.com.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there. On the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy. Have fun out there.
Back with you on the next round. CPAP Plus brings you part of the show and this developing news here. Forrester showing this to me. No surprise here. Deontay Lawson, he left the game with, as I texted Chris Stewart, who they were in the broadcast booth a long way away and not the best setup in Norman as far as the advantage point from the field, one of those high press boxes. I said replay looked like it was his Achilles. You watch and see when you're looking for the injury. If you see that sort of quiver up his
the wavy,
it runs up his leg. You saw that a little bit. Pete Thamel reporting Deontay Lawson will miss the remainder of the season after suffering a significant leg injury against Oklahoma. Went down with that injury and didn't play the rest of the game. Big loss for Alabama, obviously, with that guy for that game and for the upcoming Iron Bowl.
You could see the defense, and it changed when he
Still,
went
it
out.
was struggling before he left, but after he left.
It was, and this is interesting because, doing 30-plus minutes yesterday with the guys that cover Crimson, and we're, 2.5 hours into this show today, we haven't mentioned him. That would have been the biggest talking point coming out of that game if Alabama would have won.
That's right, because losing him for the playoffs would have been tremendous. Tremendous loss.
On top of his ability, the green dot, I mean, that's how much they trust him. And then beyond just having the green dot, he's the guy that directs all the traffic. So that's tough.
CPAP Plus.
Yeah, hey, if you're looking for the best CPAP gear with personal service you can trust, you can Google CPAP Plus or just visit our friends, the O'Neill brothers there. Tell them the next round sent you. 3 convenient locations, Pelham Highway 280, Trustful. They've got something special for the next round viewer and listener. $20 credit towards the purchase of a new mask system, CPAP cleaner, or even a travel CPAP machine. Stop by today, CPAP Plus, where you're going to find the best service and equipment all in stock ready for you with hundreds of 5-star Google reviews. Trust CPAP Plus for all of your CPAP needs. CPAP Plus, where every night matters.
Yeah, and also by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Listen, champyschicken.com, such good food, great customer service, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. But if you ever get caught having to eat fried chicken that isn't from Champy's in Sterling, you realize just how good Sterling's fried chicken is. Fried chicken is something that can be bad if it's not prepared properly. Sterling does it. It is so good every time. Brined overnight. It is cooked to order. It's not sitting under a lamp or sitting in a box somewhere. It is ready, or dare I say a bucket. It is ready to go, cooked specifically for you right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. It is champyschicken.com. We'll get to trash here and then wrap up the show with all the big football stuff going on. But I will point this out. Largest loss to an unranked team, Alabama, since, take a guess on year.
2003.
2003. Further back.
Okay.
Oh, I've heard it was.
And I kind of cheated here. It was their 21 point, trailing by 21 plus.
Yeah.
To an unranked was the first time they've done that since 2003.
It was 1998. Do you have the game? Because I'm going to guess it if you do not.
It was 1998. I do not have the game.
I think they lost in 1998, 42-6 at Arkansas, if memory serves. It's weird that I can remember that.
They lost 42-6.
Do you remember how bad DeBose was?
Yeah, I mean, he was the Gene Chizik without the championship.
Yeah, he was the worst one.
Yeah.
Here, I'll look it up real quick. I can pull up 1998, Jim.
Anyway, there's a lot of things going on as you pull that up. I mean, first 3-loss season since 2010.
Yeah.
Again, this is the first somewhat meaningless Iron Bowl since 2006.
Yeah, when you say that, you mean can't go to the SEC championship game.
I mean, I know. Look, I still know there's a lot of pride involved, and Auburn's fighting for that 6th win, and Alabama with some kind of miracle could possibly get in, but I can't remember an Iron Bowl with less at stake.
So I was right that it was 42-6. I was wrong that Arkansas was actually ranked in that game, so that one didn't count. It was that miserable Music City Bowl. That was the Sleep Bowl.
To Virginia Tech?
To Virginia Tech, 38-7. I mean, that year, DeBose lost 38-7 to Virginia Tech, 35-18 to Tennessee, 42-6 to Arkansas.
Yeah.
In case you youngs forget where Alabama football once was.
That is such a beatdown. This was a question that was asked in Monday Morning Live by one of our viewers. Can't remember his name in the chat room now. But most important game in Kalen DeBoer's career and Hugh Freeze's career, this Iron Bowl, by this, because it can set the tone of each program over the next 3 or 4 years, this one game.
I think that's fair. Hugh Freeze is coming off his best win at Auburn this past weekend. You guys would agree with that, right?
Oh, I would, yeah. Now, are we saying at their current stop? Because, I mean, Kalen DeBoer is literally coached for a national championship.
No, I think current stop.
Current stop.
Because the way it impacts the next 3 or 4 games.
And I agree with you 100% because I think if you're an Alabama fan, if you win that 9th game and you did beat Georgia at home and you took care of Auburn, you ran LSU off their field, I think when Alabama fans process it, look, there were a lot of peaks and valleys, but 9-3 was kind of that number, or 10-2. So I think Alabama fans are going to be able to live with that. From 9-3 to 8-4 is an absolute disaster. And on the other side for Hugh Freeze, 6-6 is not what was expected in year 2. But if you can finish off the season by knocking off A&M ranked and then Alabama and giving Alabama that 4th loss with these young players and Cam Coleman really getting involved in this offense, I think it's a selling point. So, yeah, I think it is massive for both.
Do you have, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot like this, Jim, but do you have any idea about bowl prospects?
Bowls?
Yeah, for bowls, like Alabama with a loss. What's 8-4 look like in the SEC bowl structure now?
Citrus Bowl, Gator Bowl, Vegas Bowl.
That's probably where they would be at 8-4, and then Auburn is.
It's probably where they're going to end up regardless.
Yeah.
Citrus Bowl, because remember all the good
bowls are
all
in the
good
playoff.
bowl games are in the playoffs. So best team left out of the playoff is usually the Citrus Bowl, Gator Bowl, Las Vegas Bowl. I think are the 3 choices.
You think you can fill a plane, maybe to Vegas? But to Orlando, I'm being honest. I mean, like, unless you're one of these Bama fans that takes pride in, I've been to 171 straight games.
Yeah, or I've already got a Disney trip planned. I get to see my favorite team play while I'm there. So, we'll take a day off from Disney and go to the Bama game.
Do you guys remember, look, it was a body bag game, and I give Alabama credit, Nick Saban credit for getting his team ready for, I think it was Kirk Cousins and Michigan State. But going into that game, I mean, it was just like a dead atmosphere.
By the way, that was a 3-loss Bama team, too.
Yeah.
Much like this one.
And keep in mind, I don't know, the last time we had an SEC team that was bowl eligible left out of a bowl, but I think Arkansas has gotten to be
They beat La Tech. They beat La Tech Saturday.
So, I mean, if Auburn wins, they're bowl eligible. And by the way, a lot of the bowls that we usually kick SEC teams into are being eaten up by the playoffs now.
And, here's what sucks. Like, Vanderbilt could be that odd man out because if you're looking to sell tickets, I mean, how many tickets is Vanderbilt actually going to sell?
They don't even fill their own stadium.
I mean, if you're only putting 3 into the college football playoffs, then you're talking about the Citrus, the Gator, Vegas Bowl, probably can squeeze one in. We're at Outback Bowl, what used to be the Outback Bowl. Help me out here. I'm running out. The Texas Bowl. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're running out of bowls.
What is the Cheez-It Bowl?
That is the Cheez-It Bowl is what was the Tangerine Bowl, the revival, I think, of the Tangerine Bowl.
Is there any SEC tie to that one?
I don't know.
See, that's the problem now. I don't think so. But you're gonna have to start filling some of this up.
Yeah. Can we do this at some point, though? Can we do our top 12 teams? Like if you were just going eye test the best 12 teams coming out of this weekend.
Let's do it tomorrow and see how it compares on Wednesday. Yeah.
No, he wants to do the 12 best, not the 12.
Not who we
I'm
think.
just saying
not
that's
12
what I'm
seeded.
saying. My 12 best, and let's just see how it compares.
Yeah, like
to
if they were like, look, you've got to give me your 12 best teams for this postseason.
No automatic bids, not seeds.
Nothing. Yeah, just who's playing their best right now.
Okay, best right now or best for the season?
Well, I mean, I guess a combination of both.
Okay.
I mean, who deserves to be? I guess
it
it goes either way.
If there were no automatic bids, who are the 12 best teams?
Yeah.
To be in the college football playoff.
Yeah, like if you were trying to make the best playoff possible, who would you put in there?
By the way I think it should be, but okay.
Yeah.
Jim disagrees with me.
Well, I do, because it would be less entertaining of the regular season.
Yeah.
I mean, that is true. It would.
These Big 12 games would mean nothing.
How many of these Big 12 games are you going to watch Saturday?
I mean, well, look, that's the only thing that's intriguing, I think.
I know, but how many are you going to watch?
But how many have I watched, though? I watched Colorado and Kansas. I wouldn't have watched it.
That was on my primary.
I watched Arizona State. I even tweeted it out. It's a mess in Tempe right now.
Oh, wow. What a diagnosis.
You know, we talk about our friend Brock Ewart, who will be coming up in about an hour and 18 minutes here on Unlocked. Jason Benetti's a really good play-by-play guy.
I like him. I like that crew. Yeah,
Allison Williams. They've got a really good crew.
Yeah, he has just enough smart ass in him that I like.
He does, yeah.
I like Sean McDonough for that reason, and I like Jason as well for that reason. He gives Brock some crap, and I like that. All right, Trash Time brought to you by Mortgage Right. You got the reel. Spin the wheel. Let's see who we have.
The line is baked in a buttery, flaky crust.
Baked on a buttery crust. Baked on a buttery, crispy crust.
Damn, flaky.
I thought I said flaky. Baked on a buttery flavored crust. Crust.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, if you're in buying mode, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Veteran founded here in Birmingham, offer loans throughout the country while the area they serve may have grown. Their commitment to Birmingham and veterans has not changed. Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You can get more information. Go to their website, or if you're in Birmingham, call their Highway 280 office. 205-900-7200 to talk to somebody right now. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. Brown, I got a funny text from our man Tanner over the weekend after the Ole Miss loss.
Oh, yeah?
I'll share it with you after the show.
I saw him at church yesterday.
So on Saturday, our pregame show, I think somebody brought up Cat Williams buying the military base in
That was
Anniston?
me, yeah. He bought part of the barracks there at Fort McClellan in my old hometown of Anniston. The comedian Cat Williams, I think $1.5 million was the price tag.
Yeah, Cat Williams dreams of being a movie mogul. He's taking it to Alabama. According to his publicist, quote, I can't disclose the amount or exact location yet, but I can confirm that he's purchased a former military base in Alabama.
I think we just disclosed the amount.
Yeah, Fort McClellan's Cold War era barracks in Anniston. They've been up for sale for $1.5 million. Known locally as Starships. Did you know that?
I've seen this. This is, I didn't know they called it Starships, but I've definitely seen this.
Barracks and surrounding property consist of 30 concrete buildings with 3 million square feet of indoor space. There are 10 barracks, 20 rooms each, 2 large gymnasiums, more than 90 acres of usable flat land on the old Fort McClellan site.
It's a gorgeous piece of property. And Brock, the road, what was it? Baines Gap Road out the back of it is just a beautiful stretch of road. And it's not being used in large. The city uses some of it. Jacksonville State uses some of it. So I'm glad Cat has done this. The city of Anniston needs the help. It's more of an economically depressed city than when I lived there. So I'm pulling for this to be massive.
Well, there are so many people that are pulling out of California. And look, this has been going on for 15 years, going to Georgia, Louisiana, and doing a lot of projects, whether it's film or television. And I would think our state taxes are lower than theirs.
Yeah,
so.
and with all the land they got out there, like some of the on-site shooting, you could do a lot out there. So I hope I can't imagine it's going to be huge. This seems like a gamble on Cat's part, but I hope it's massive.
Florida man.
He was in my headlines, and it was right. The train derailed.
Yeah. Now, this is a 35-year-old from Jacksonville. Had the bright idea to fire a 6-inch firework rocket at his girlfriend before peeling out in his Mustang. Now, here's where things go bad. So, lights up the rocket's fuse, rolls down his window, began to drive slowly by the unsuspecting young lady, and then the rocket launched. Perhaps it went off sooner than this man expected, Shannon, the 35-year-old, or perhaps it just jumped out of his hand. Perhaps he's just got a bad arm. Whatever the reason, the rocket missed the window, ricocheted all over the interior of his car. After a dizzying moment of flames and confusion, rocket finally lodged itself somewhere it wouldn't bounce out of. That was Shannon's crotch. And then it exploded. Shannon told the press that the explosion was more than deafening. It was more than disorienting. Quote, I couldn't see, I couldn't hear, I couldn't walk. I thought I was dead. Luckily, Shannon's neighbors heard the explosion, rushed to the scene, finding Shannon on fire. They quickly put him out. Discovered he was burned from his groin down to his toes. When first responders pulled him from the mess, his singed clothes, the outlines of his sandals were still burned into his feet. As expected, Shannon was rushed to the hospital, treated for second-degree burns. When asked about the future with fireworks, quote, no more of those.
What's your future with fireworks?
This is a true story. Our boy Jimmy Anthony, this is before he was married to Shelly. He had this big, like, Delta 88. And our guys, Chico and Chief, used to live on the south side in a real rat hole. And Jimmy lived with them. He was pulling out of the driveway, and we were throwing bottle rockets. And did you ever, you would get the 12 that came in one pack.
That's right.
So I would light the whole things all together. And I threw them at his car, and his window was cracked, and it went into the car. And those things were shooting freaking everywhere. I mean, it was like a 1 in a million toss.
How pissed was he?
He was pretty pissed.
So you sort of were proud of the toss.
Oh, it was incredible because, there was a ton of people. We were all sitting on the porch drinking beer and just, as he was leaving, anybody that would come and go, we were, being really immature and stupid and throwing fireworks at him. But that one just landed perfectly in the car. It was
incredible.
Crazy.
Yeah. Does the paramedic call that one in? Is Squad 51, we're coming in emergency room. We need an assistant. We got roasted weenies here. Roasted weenies.
Oh, wow.
A woman in Cape Coral, Florida, found herself in hot water after a video she posted on TikTok showcasing a haul of allegedly stolen items from Target led to her arrest for shoplifting. Now, the store reported that on October 30th, a woman later identified as Marlena Valez entered the store, selected items from the shelves, proceeded to the self-checkout. Velez purportedly used a counterfeit barcode to lower the prices during the checkout. According to reports, Valez managed to steal 16 items valued at $500. To identify the culprit, officers reviewed security footage from the store. Picture of Valez was shared on Instagram by the police, leading users to recognize her and provide her social media details. Surveillance footage from the local Target, along with the video from her Instagram and TikTok accounts, played a crucial role in IDing her. In a bizarre twist, one of the videos even showed her wearing the same outfit as in the store's surveillance footage.
Yeah, she likes that outfit, clearly. Goes to a heavy.
Yeah.
Kind of see why.
I mean, how dumb are you? First of all, a thief is one of the worst people out there. But a thief that's going to brag on social media and then get caught, how stupid is she?
If you're a social media content creator, done away. Probably don't need to shoplift in places with cameras, right? Yeah. Your whole life's on camera.
How does that kind of content get 20.5 thousand likes, hearts?
That's a great question.
It's all TikTok views, and they don't count for anything.
Okay.
That's what
Half of them probably aren't even real.
Yeah. All ours are real, though, Tyler. You know that, right?
Oh,
go follow Next Round Live on TikTok. All ours are real.
Finally, newly installed traffic signs in Boulder, Colorado, reminding drivers to employ safe driving practices are proving to be about as dangerous as well as all of the stuff they warn against. These are pretty funny signs. A couple of reasons. One, neither the city of Boulder nor the state of Colorado put those signs there. And two, they contain harsh language that's not only distracting to drivers as they pass, but compelling many to take pictures behind the wheel. Now, the signs posted in a handful of locations around Boulder urge drivers to do simple life-saving stuff like obey speed limits, not to look at their phones while driving. You see that one, get off your damn phone. There's another one, instead of saying slow children at play, it says don't kill any kids today.
That's a good principle to live by.
Another simply reads slow the F down. Boulder police
kids today.
Investigating the traffic signs those are like real metal signs, aren't they?
They are. Somebody went to great lengths to get these made and put on these speed limit signs.
Now, they currently don't know who put them up or when they did it, but at least they did acknowledge the signs were well-intentioned.
Dunaway, I know you're probably the same. Lance, probably the same. When I was growing up, people were trying to steal road signs. They were not trying to add to them.
Oh, I think we were successful a couple of times.
Yeah. Can't even get Joe and Tommy down at the street services to put up the new signs we want.
These people do good work. Let's hire them.
Yeah.
I mean, their language is a bit questionable.
That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Hey, if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. No cost or obligation. So remember, whether you're looking for your final home or first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. Visit them, mortgageright.com. Call 205-900-7200.
And our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living starts with a planforme.com. A planforme.com. Personalized plans that work for you. No cookie cutter plan. That includes the injection medical weight loss with the supervision of Leslie and her board certified team, meal replacements, and so much more. No contract, no sign up fees, and the first consultation is free. The website again, planforme.com, planforme.com. Go by there and lose weight, control your blood pressure, lower the cholesterol numbers. It can all happen for you at Way to Wellness. The website again, planforme.com. Final thoughts here.
Can I bring up one thing real quick?
Yeah, you can bring up anything you want.
Brown, just because you brought this up and somebody reminded me, I didn't hear this on the broadcast, but you mentioned Kansas didn't punt.
Yep.
The punter's from Australia. His parents flew in to see his game.
Oh, how bad does that
And
suck?
he didn't even get to punt. Just to add injury to insult, you just roll him out
Is
there.
he at least the holder? Like, did he get to hold or something like that?
I don't know. I got to, Brock was on that call, so
Yeah.
I'll talk to Brock about it. That's pretty incredible.
Sad, man.
Yeah, really good in warm-ups. You were good, son. You were good.
I saw you stand over there that whole time, too.
Hey, let's go to the Barbie and get some shrimp. Nebraska bowl eligible. They get to
They
win.
finally got that bowl eligibility win. They were on a bad streak of not getting a win when they needed it for bowl eligibility. So finally got it. Weird ending at something happened between Luke Fickell and was it Dominic Raiola? I don't know. I've seen reports that was it, but there were some words exchanged, and one of the police officers that was with Fickell peeled off Fickell and went to the other guy and grabbed him, put his hands on him. And he's a Cincinnati police officer, and that game was in Lincoln. A weird deal there at the end of that game.
I did not watch
don't know what happened.
any of that game.
I always wonder
what
what the jurisdiction is for the visiting police officer with the visiting team.
Yeah, he peeled off Fickell and ran over and grabbed the guy. They talked for just a second. He let him go. But yeah, that was a weird inning, but good for our guy. And he gets Iowa next. I mean, that's not a loser. I mean, that's not an unwinnable game for them. They could get to 7 wins this year.
They could. Genty injured, but came back, still had 169 yards. But what few people are talking about, back to your Tulane debate, they just won that game 17-13 over Wyoming.
They were in trouble. But their only loss is Oregon.
Yeah,
I mean,
but they won. And, the Washington State win, not what it once was with Washington State losing to New Mexico, but they're going to have another top 25 win if they beat UNLV.
Quinn Ewers, if you watch that game, tender ankle all the way through it. Texas never really putting Kentucky away, though it was not a threat of Kentucky's offense scoring enough points to win it. But Ewers' ankle was an issue. He didn't play great. Steve Sarkisian saying today that for the rivalry game, Texas A&M, that Quinn is planning on practicing today.
I laid the 20 in this game. I thought Texas would win it going away. When it got a little tight, boy, I was hoping Kentucky could pull some magic there. I mean, to see Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian, and James Franklin all lose on the same day in such pivotal games was going to be incredible. Now, obviously, Sark and Texas get out of there with a win. Quinn has been – I think Texas is a good team, but it really depends on how well Quinn's playing. Now, they are starting to run the football a lot better.
They are. Blue's got Blue.
Weiser and Blue.
Yeah, and Blue has fumbled a couple. I saw a photo of him earlier today at their media availability doing the old high school deal. When you fumble a lot and you have to carry the ball around, apparently Jaden Blue was having to carry the ball around all day. So maybe he'll kick the fumbling.
Adam Rittenberg writes this, and I want to debate this for the end part of the show here. He writes, I've always favored who you beat versus acceptable losses.
Agreed.
But the SEC this year is testing my premise. South Carolina now might have the best profile among the 3 lost teams. No awful losses like Ole Miss and Alabama and several other quality wins. Maybe not as high as Bama and Ole Miss's win over Georgia.
Not an awful opponent to lose to, but they got run by Ole Miss on their own field.
They did, and they got beat by Alabama. So,
yeah. Of course,
if you get down to a debate for a 4th SEC team, let's just say, let's close our eyes and pretend the SEC and the Big Ten are the most powerful entities in college sports.
Okay.
and they're going to get a benefit of the doubt, a certain number of teams in the playoffs. Let's say that number's 3 guaranteed, maybe 4 each. If you're debating on who belongs to be that 3rd or 4th team in, I don't know how you judge South Carolina, but I think they're playing really good football.
Okay, so outside of the Ole Miss, and you can't scratch that, and again, that was one of Sellers, I think it was his 4th or 5th career start, and they got run off the field.
They're a different team now.
You go back to LSU, you go back to Alabama, I mean, it came down to one play in both of those. They could easily be 10-1 going into the Clemson game. Look, they've got to close the deal in Death Valley, but if they do, and I'll get more on this tomorrow if we do our 12 teams, they have done the job of going from beating Old Dominion in week 1 by 4, where Brown and I both agreed worst team in the SEC is probably South Carolina.
Yeah, I know. They were, yeah.
And then from where they were then to where they are now, they've gotten better and better and better and better. And if I'm part of the committee, that's what I want to see. Look, brands are one thing. You can have, the script A on you all day long. But if there is a team that is playing much better, and just because it's South Carolina, I'm not going to punish them for that. South Carolina right now is playing like a better team than Alabama.
I mean, it can't just come down to this one thing. But, man, that South Carolina LSU game, if not for that one penalty that wiped off the pick 6, South Carolina's in the playoffs right now.
Oh,
assuming they did everything else the same.
Well, if Sellers, again, this guy is learning on the fly. If he just goes underneath against Bama instead of going for it all where he was ultimately picked off, they've got an easy chip shot to win that game.
I know.
Again, before we talk Auburn basketball and what's ahead this week for Alabama basketball as well, those reporting services at On3 reporting that 5-star corner Naheem Offord is flipping from Ohio State to Auburn, a 5-star flip there. I think Hugh Freeze actually himself laughed at me back in the summer when I said, why don't you just get guys to commit one place and then flip when you get close to signing day?
He did laugh at you. I can confirm that.
He laughed out loud at me, but there you go. There's another flipmas for if you're an Auburn fan from the kid right there. I think he's a Parker kid.
He is a Parker kid. Real quick before we do that, Mike Rodak, I'm reading that Kalen DeBoer is at the podium right now, a little bit early today. Ask about Jalen Milroe's effort on the pick 6. Quote, he's got to find a way to get him out of bounds. I trust him to do a lot of things. I trust he can find a way to get him down. It's not something we practice all the time, but find a way. Now, DeBoer is a pretty chill guy. I doubt it was pounding on there, but that's about as frustrated as you'll see that guy get, that he's saying that way about his star player. I mean, he's right. He's got to find a way to get him down.
Yeah, and look, and even if you don't get him down, I mean, at least give the effort.
Yeah.
You get stiff-armed and embarrassed. I mean, at least make an effort.
Yeah, but find a way is the end part of the quote. But find a way.
He's seen it on tape now several times.
I don't know, man. That was as bad a Bama performance as I've seen in a long time, and to me, that was the poster child of that performance.
Auburn and Iowa State tonight in basketball, 8 o'clock on ESPNU and Maui. Keep in mind that this is number 2 versus number 8 in the Ken Pom, 4 versus 5 in the AP poll. Great contest tonight. If you're looking for what Iowa State does, they force turnovers with really good guard play, good defense, much like Auburn saw against Houston. So it'll need to be a big night for Denver Jones in that one. They end up playing if they win, the winner of North Carolina and Dayton. If they lose, they play the loser of that game. Alabama plays in Vegas tomorrow night, 7 o'clock on TBS. The Turner Broadcasting Station is what that stands for. With Houston, who's back to number 1 in the Ken Pom, Alabama number 10. That's tomorrow night. So some good, juicy basketball action all happening right now. We're back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time, Unlocked with Brock Hewitt and LT coming up in an hour. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.